Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites, sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433, and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 p.m. every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on, so you never have to spend a minute without us. Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there! And welcome to Christmas on Yarn Lane. Look at my fantastic hat. I am so excited about it. Honestly, if there's anything I'm going to knit first before Christmas, it's going to be this hat. It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? So we are selling kits for this today as well as many other things. But the hat that I love, I'll take it off so you can see. Oh, it's nice and warm. In the kit, there are the sizes and the instructions to do from toddler up to adult. So this will do any size. It is super chunky and lovely and comes with a beautiful pom-pom as well. So I'm going to just run through all the items that we've got today, and then we've got the lovely Carrie who is going to demonstrate how to do them. So this gorgeous hat, I love that, because you know it's like at Christmas, you buy a hat and then you get rid of it, you throw it out, but this you will keep forever. So I'm going to wear it because I love it. So if you want to shop with us on Yarn Lane before, if you're normally a Sewing Street viewer, we'll just go through those details. You need to go onto www.yarnlane.com and shop on there. You can use the same account that you've got at the moment. You don't, if you're with Sewing Street, you don't need a new account because the two go across each other. You click on Watch Live and everything is there already. So there's the Christmas garland, the hat that I'm wearing, there's the Santa sacks, the Christmas scarf, the amazing Gingerbread Man cushion. Oh, you'll love him, you'll see him. And then in the next hour, we've got Christmas socks, and all of that's on there. So you can get ahead, order now, because I don't want you to miss out. We also have a free phone call centre, which is a UK call centre, family run, just around the corner from us. They're extremely helpful and we'll be able to sort out any of your inquiries. And if you'd rather shop by phone, you can. That's 0800 4700 600. So where should we start? Well, I've talked about the hat already because he is lovely. He is lovely. So in the kit for your hat, you get all the yarn and all the pattern and everything you need to make this hat. And Carrie's going to show us in a minute how to do it. It looks better on you than me. I'm not very good at hats. Look. Maybe Christmas from Hayley. She's just jealous because she hasn't got a Santa hat. It's so nice. Can't decide which side I want my pom-pom actually. So does the pom-pom come in the kit?
You can make the pom-pom.
You make him yourself?
Yeah.
It's very nice,
lovely,
isn't it?
Very soft. Yeah, and you can make it as big as you like.
It's fantastic. I love the pom-pom. That's probably my favourite thing. So in the kit, $39.99, you get everything you need to make this gorgeous hat. And I'm going to take them off now because I'm getting a bit hot. It's lovely. It's so soft. It's they're really lovely chunky yarn, but it's merino wool. So it is beautiful quality merino wool yarn. Oh, we've got a message. The hat looks lovely, Rebecca. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to take it off for a minute because it's quite warm. But how great is this going to be at Christmas parties?
I know, right?
On the bus.
I know. And keeping you warm too.
It is what I like because I really struggle. Hats are always a bit sort of tight.
Yeah.
But this is nice and soft and loose.
No, it's got a lovely stretch to it. It's got. I mean, you can make it. There's 4 or 5 different sizes.
Oh, okay.
So you can make it in different sizes to suit. Measure your head.
I think it'd be really good for walking the dog actually because you can really pull it over your ears.
Yeah. There you go.
And that's why I get really cold ears. Festive dog walking.
Beautiful.
Very nice. But what a lovely thing to have. What a brilliant gift for somebody as well. Everybody loves a Christmas hat.
Completely agree.
Isn't it? There we go. Right, we are limited on these hats because this is our first ever Yarn Lane Christmas. So we are limited on numbers, so if you do want one of our lovely hats. Now, can I say most importantly that all of the Christmas kits that we've got today from Couture are brand new. We are lucky enough to be the first people to launch them. Couture sell them on their own website and in various shops and stuff, but we are launching their Christmas collection today. So you won't have seen them anywhere else except with us. Right, should we do the scarves next? So we have 2 scarf kits. We have so that one's behind you, Carrie. So that's the child's one.
This is the child's
one.
The
candy cane scarf.
Yeah.
In fact, wouldn't it look marvellous with the hat? So it's in red and white stripes. Have we got a picture of that? Oh, we just need to move over to the other set. Right, I will just, I'll get the red and white scarf. Everything's frozen. I don't know what's going on today. First of all, we lose our website. And then we so this is I'll show you the adult one first. So this is the candy cane scarf. We have got it for adults and children. This is the adult one. Now this is particularly good if you have never knitted before or if you haven't knitted for a while. This is perfect. It grows really quickly. It's all knitted in this very, very simple garter stitch, but it is this beautiful quality merino wool. And I think if you're going to spend the time making a Christmas project that you're going to use for years and years and years, then this is it. It's a bit Where's Wally as well, isn't it?
I've never felt so festive in July.
I know. It's so nice to feel so festive. It's just, I love it. And remember, you know, the quality of this. This is this beautiful chunky yarn. I think this one uses the 15mm needles.
It does,
Really,
yeah.
really big chunky needles. And it is merino. It is so warm. Love this. So that's the adult one. That's $49.99. You get a lot of yarn in it. Remember, it is pure merino wool. This is something that will last you for a long time, and it's a great gift. As in, you know, the kit is a lovely gift because it's perfect for a beginner, but also it's a nice gift to make for somebody as well. Right, could I borrow the children's one?
Go ahead, yeah.
Something's going wrong with our cameras. I hope they work again in a minute.
Ooh.
Right, so now that's the adult scarf, because obviously it's bigger and longer, but we also do it in the children's kit as well, again in that lovely red and white stripe, pure merino wool. There we go. Right, we've lost our cameras. Luckily we've still got mine, but we've lost yours.
Oh.
So this is the children's scarf in this lovely white and red candy. It's called the candy cane scarf, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Gorgeous. In a really, really simple garter stitch. I mean, actually, you know, if you want to teach someone to knit, if you've got a child who wants to learn to knit, what a lovely thing to start with. But you want to make something that you're actually going to wear and you want to have. So this is perfect for it. Merino wool. Beautiful. We've got a question. Question from Susan. Can you please tell me if the hat can be made in children's sizes?
It absolutely can, yeah.
You can. What sizes can it be made in?
Bear with me just a moment. Let me get to the right
One
thing.
moment. We're just going to
the
check.
child's hat, because it's so hot off the press, you know, you
Yeah,
are the
it's
first
brand
to
new,
have
brand new.
these.
We haven't
So,
seen these before.
So they go from toddlers to men's sizes. So the toddlers is 38 to 42 centimetres in circumference.
Yeah.
And the largest size is 56 to 60.
There we go. So you could, if you buy a whole family's worth of kits.
Yeah.
And then if you make the smallest one, you'll have loads left over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, in theory, you might be able to make two small
Probably make
ones.
two. Yeah, it does go quite a long way. You've got quite a lot of meterage on this. You've got, where are we?
So you might be able
You've got
to make
65 metres.
So you could
on
probably
the
make
merino.
two small children's ones.
Yeah,
then.
I reckon you probably could.
So yes, you can. And then you can have a matching scarf as well.
Yeah. super
Love the
cute.
Candy scarf. So the hat, if you want to order the hat, that's the one that's on the side of the screen, FEW426. And then the one on the left is the child scarf that we're talking about at the moment. The sack. So, who doesn't love a knitted present sack? And again, and it's this lovely chunky merino yarn, but you can personalise them. Oh, there's Neil. Have you come for Christmas?
No, I want to say that the cameras are broken. We can't switch off you. So you're going to have to describe what she's doing.
That'll be fun. So I'm going to, yes, will that be like one of those weird things you demo and I'll describe it, like a game? So we have the Santa sacks. Now these can be personalised. So I presume all the letters of the alphabet come in the kit.
They do. All the letters of the alphabet are in the kit, and it's not intarsia. It's not that you're knitting in that. You knit the whole sack.
Yeah.
And then we do a duplicate stitch.
Oh, so it's not knitted,
no.
it's stitched on top.
Stitched on top. So if you think, I'm not sure I could do intarsia, no problem at all. It's duplicate stitch. So you're
Wow.
learning another technique, which is really simple to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the instructions are there for
Because
every
it looks
letter.
like it's knitted
I know,
in, but you
right?
haven't
Yeah.
got any of that colour changing.
No colour changing. And what I love, because it's quite small, the amount of stitches that you're doing in the red, if you were doing intarsia, you could easily have like gaps and
Yeah,
things around
well, I
the
was
letter.
thinking they've done this ever so well.
Yeah, no, you don't get it because it's duplicate stitch. Where you stitch over the top
Wow.
once you've finished.
Yeah, because normally you would, if it's particularly with pulling it like that, you'd see the gaps, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't get any of that.
Okay. So you just have to choose. I mean, and it's a big sack. And the great thing about it being knitted is it really stretches as well.
Yeah,
you get loads of presents.
You could fit
in
a lot
here.
in there, yeah.
So if you're thinking, you know how it's lovely if you've got to do a stocking for maybe an adult or something, if you knit them a sack for it to go in, or for a child, this is the sort of thing they'd keep forever, isn't it?
So cute. Yeah, absolutely. Knit one for all the children in the family.
Yeah.
And then you've got and not only do they look really cute around your fireside at Christmas.
Well, it's all that squishy.
The kids are going to love them.
Squishy loveliness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Squishy loveliness. And look, and then it's just got a simple drawstring, but it's a drawstring. It's a really nice size. Now we have got them in 2 colours, so you can go for your sort of neutral grey and red. That's that one. Oh, thank you. But we also have it in white, well, it's cream, I'd say, it's not white, cream and red as well. Again, remember that the so we're currently down to 1 camera. Oh. The cameras have died this morning.
Yeah.
But we're studio. Don't worry, we'll get through it. We've coped without the Sewing Street website this morning, which is now back. And when that happened, something went wrong with the cameras.
Let's carry on. We're all right.
It's just life.
Yeah.
It's just life. So again, this is worked in the duplicate stitch, so you don't have to knit it in. I think that I'm feeling so much more relieved about that. But what a lovely size! Because we've got them in the grey and the red, you can then have some of each. You could, you know, if you were doing them for the whole family. And remember, it is this beautiful merino yarn. You know, this is the sort of thing, if you're going to spend the time knitting this, it is going to last forever. Because it's so soft. It's a shame you can't feel how soft it is, really, but it is beautiful. Next, Gingerbread Man. I love him. I didn't realise, because obviously when I get these, I see photos of them. Look at the size of him. And he's just so squishy. He's a real cuddle, isn't he?
So lovely, yeah.
He's a real...
really lovely. I had to prize him away from my children. Really? Morning. Yeah, they love him.
He's absolutely gorgeous, isn't he? He's really so soft. Cute. So in the kit, you get everything you need. You get all the yarn. And I love the way he's got the sort of the cream and the red stripes, because the colours are beautiful. Really chunky. You've got big buttons. I mean, this is like a forever thing, isn't it? You keep this forever. This comes out every Christmas. Oh, I don't know. I think you might keep him on your bed all year round. Yeah. What a lovely toy.
Just a reminder.
But he's so sweet. So anyway, he comes with everything. He's got obviously the brown and the cream and the red. And you even get the black yarn to do his face and the stuffing as well. All the stuffing that you'll need. But what a lovely thing. And really simple. And the great thing about this is because it's such chunky yarn, it's really, really quick to knit. So that's the Gingerbread Man. The pudding. I am loving the Christmas pudding. And again, bigger than I thought. I really like the detail that we've got around the edge as well. And I presume that's because of the increases that does that.
Yeah, it's a special, it's the same, interestingly, as the effect on the Gingerbread Man. If you look at the Gingerbread Man's stripes, they're zigzaggy. They're not just straight across stripes. They're zigzaggy. And the way that we do that is with a certain type of decrease and increase, quite rapid increase and decrease, where you're stretching and bringing it in quite quickly, and that creates that lovely V shape, which is exactly what's done there.
Because it gives it like
pudding.
A lacy effect,
yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
So in the kit, you get all of the brown yarn and the cream for the custard, and the green and the red to make the pom-pom, but you also get the yarn in the kit to make the small garland, which is hanging up behind Carrie. So I'm just showing it's the same as this one, just a bit shorter. So on the garland, you get the yarn so you can knit the cord. You've got holly leaves. Bells, you've got bells, and they've even got dongers. Are they called dongers?
Ring-a-donger, whatever you want to call it.
Clangers. Clangers, I think.
Clangers, they'll go with a clanger.
You get the bells. Oh, and you don't...
You don't get the bauble, yeah.
So on this short garland, it's just the baubles.
Holly, yeah.
And no, the holly leaves and the bells.
And the Christmas tree.
So in the kit, you get everything to make the Christmas pudding and the garland. But if you look on the website, all the pictures are there. But please, if there's any issues at all with the website or you're having problems shopping, you can shop either online or you can shop on the call centre 0800 4700 600. But this is just lovely. It's one of those things you'd see in one of those really sort of boutique shops, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful.
You can just imagine that. Well, wherever you want to put it, really. It's so cute. And you could make a couple of shorter ones, perhaps. You can even just make the items, if you didn't fancy a garland,
Yeah,
just make the
that's true.
items, put them on your Christmas tree maybe.
Oh, they would be lovely, wouldn't they? Or gift
they?
tags.
Yeah, absolutely lovely.
That's lovely. So we do actually have a kit as well. If you just want the garland, we have a kit to make this whole garland, which is ever so long. $49.99. That's amazing because it's such a long garland with all of this stuff. Again, it's using this beautiful, chunky merino yarn. Stunning, isn't it? Whole garland, it's very long. Bells, baubles, trees, and bells. But if you want, if you want to stuff, I think the wadding comes in. You just get a little bit of wadding in the kit for this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do get a little bit. Yeah, everything you need is in here. But I love the garland. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Get all of your Christmas. I mean, knitted garlands last forever. Like these sort of paper ones. Have I done everything? That's everything, isn't it?
That is everything.
Everything.
There's a lot, isn't there?
So if you need needles, have a look at the website because that's got all the needles you need. And we are very limited on all of the items. Sorry about the camera move. So how are we going to do our demos now? So we're going to move. Ready? Oh, look at that. I like that. Yes, our cleaning products. Hey!
Hi.
That's amazing.
I've not seen that done before. You've really thrown it.
Yeah, that's really weird, isn't it?
Can it do that? Wow.
This is going to be great. Right, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea now.
Oh, don't leave me. So we're both standing here in our Christmas hats now.
Yeah.
I've had this on the whole time. I haven't taken this off. Feeling very, very festive. I don't know, what should we do first? Should we have a look at the duplicates?
Yeah, let's do, because I think that's really interesting.
Now, have I got a camera overhead or no?
No.
Okay, fine. That's all right. We can go with that. That's not a problem.
We can do
that. Okay, so the duplicate stitch. Here I've just knitted up. I've knitted up a little bit of the sack. So along the top of the sack, you will have seen. Sack. Yeah, you will have seen the little red cord, which is just created by twisting a couple of lengths of the merino. It twists up, and that's how you make your cord. And you've done some kind of buttonholes really there, buttonholes to make, and then
so they've just left gaps for the buttonholes.
Yeah, we do buttonholes essentially, a yarn over so that we've got some holes, and then we can thread that through. Now what you can see here, this looks a bit messy, but these are my markers. These are my markers. I've used contrasting yarn, and it's all in the pattern, as with all of the Wool Couture patterns that you've come to know and love. Everything written brilliantly, everything's there. You know, it's step by step taking you along that way of the pattern. So it shows you how you choose your letter, and as I said, A to Z are in there, and then you mark it out. So we're marking out essentially where the letter is going to sit.
And does it tell you that all in the instructions about the measurements? It's all in the instructions.
For it. Okay. Measure up, you know, however many stitches from the top and from the bottom and along the sides and everything. So I'm going to show you how to do the duplicate stitch. I'm going to take this little marker out here because I just want it to get out of the way and not confuse you. So what we're doing is we're literally going over the top of, can you see the little red V's here? If I hold that up a little bit, can you see the little red V's? Yeah? So if you're new to knitting, or even if you're not really, knit stitch always looks like a little V. If I show you there, looks like a little V.
But it looks neater.
It does, doesn't it? My intarsia, I don't know about yours, Rebecca, my intarsia is okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay, it depends.
I'm never 100% happy with it.
And also in chunky, it's not very forgiving. Chunky yarn in intarsia is not very forgiving. If you're on DK or something, you've got smaller needles, it's easier to make it tighter.
So this is a great technique that if you've got intarsia that you don't fancy doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't work with everything, but you know.
No, probably, but for this.
But also, this is quite good. If you'd knitted up a whole one of these, or something quite large in stocking stitch, and you had a couple of stitches where, I don't know, where you'd pulled it or it didn't look quite right.
True.
You could fix the stitch by doing a duplicate stitch in the same coloured yarn. So it's exactly the same.
You could do a little star over any mistakes.
There you go. It would come your little tagline. People would know, that's where she made that mistake.
Well, I sort of dropped one.
So what we do this is the line that I'm going across here. So this is the next stitch.
Yes, I can see that.
That I'm going to cover. But what we need to do is we come from the wrong side to the right side with our darning needle underneath, and the stitch underneath the one that we want to cover.
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do is we've come out of the little leg under there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the darning needle around the back and underneath the legs of the stitch above the one we want to cover.
Right.
Pull it through. Don't pull it very tight at this point. And we're going to go back into the hole that we came out of. So I'm going to take that to the back and pull it through. And then at that point, I'm just going to neaten it up. And can you see there, I've made a duplicate knit stitch. So I'm going to show you again from the very beginning. We go in the middle of the stitch below the one we want to cover.
Okay.
Bring it out. And then we go around the legs of the stitch above the one we want to cover, like that. And we pull it through, like so. And then we go back in to that stitch there. Oh, hold on. I haven't got quite the right way because I'm doing it upside down. There we go. And that is how we do those duplicate stitches. And so I was going to do the letter E here, for example, for my little boy, and we would just carry on along and then come down, and it's exactly the same technique, going in through
the hole at the bottom,
through
the legs,
going
and with this chunky
behind.
yarn you can really see that. Now if you're having any problems at all with the website, I think there might be, please call the call centre. Remember, it is free and it is local. It's just a UK one around the corner from us, and you can order them. And if you've just tuned in, sorry about the very strange camera angle, but there must be, we're down to one camera, we don't know what's going on today. No idea what's going on.
But there we go, so there's that duplicate stitch of the sack. So you would continue on with the letter that it is that you've chosen.
So do you work in rows?
Yes, work in your rows. And then, so if I was doing the letter E, I would now say, okay, let's just pretend I've got all the way across. I'm now going to come down. So if I'm going to come down on this row, I need to remember that I have to go into the hole, into the stitch below the one I want to cover. So I'm going to come into this one. It feels like you're going too far down, but it's not. That's below the one I want to cover.
Oh yeah, I'm trying, that's too.
But then I need to come through and round the legs of the one above. Oh, and I have gone one down. I have gone down because I'm upside down.
But you know what? It's easy to unpick.
It's easy to unpick it and go round. There we go, because it's nice and chunky. There we go. Oh dear. That's it. That's
you are sewing upside down.
I know.
Because normally what's great is with the overhead cameras.
Yeah, exactly. I just carry on
but we're having
as
to do it the other way round.
There we go. So I'm confusing myself. There we go. Right. Okay. So I'm coming in through this one, and then I'm going around the legs of the stitch below, like that. The stitch above. There we go. And then down back into the one where I'm going. And it looks really messy, and I'm really sorry. But I am doing it upside
down. You
down.
won't be doing yours upside down.
No, I would say that's much easier when you're. Oh gosh, it looks absolutely awful. Just ignore that one that I've done there.
They do look great though, but you could then put, you could use your own chart and write a message on it.
You could do little stuff, like you were saying, with the stars or whatever. It sort of works a bit, once you've got the technique of it sort of works a little bit like cross stitch almost.
That's
the one I want to cover.
Yes.
So I'm going to do my letter, and then maybe I'm going to do a little star or something on the bottom, and it looks super
And then you
cute.
realise you've actually covered the whole thing.
The whole thing is now not grey and it's red. So that is the Santa sack. And like you say, it comes in this gorgeous, it's 100% merino, cheeky chunky. It is super, super soft, and it's beautiful. You will have to, it takes some looking after. It's not overly complicated, but it is hand wash, and it is treat it like wool. It's merino wool.
It's beautifully soft merino wool, isn't it?
And if you're going to be storing it, I would say, just a little tip, if you're going to be storing them, like you will, you're unlikely to have these out all year round. If you're going to be storing them, get those vacuum packs. Put them in the vacuum pack all together, all your Christmas bits in a vacuum pack. put them up in the attic that way.
Right.
Just to make sure you keep the moths out.
Yeah, no, that's true actually.
Yeah.
But
So-
it is the sort of thing, if you make one of these sacks for a child, they'll have it for their whole life, won't they?
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
lovely.
I've made stockings for my children and we get them out every year, and it's a
Yes.
lovely thing to be able to do that, isn't it? To be able to get that out of the attic, and everybody looks forward to not only decorating the Christmas tree, but you've got all their little bits and the anticipation of
Oh,
that's
it's
my sack,
lovely,
and it's going
isn't
to be
it?
full of toys. Yeah. So that's everything is done in the Cheeky Chunky. All of the Christmas stuff in the Cheeky Chunky, and like we say, it's really, really soft and it knits up really quickly.
That's fab. Right, we are going to come off air for a bit to... No, we're still discussing it.
Okay.
When you've made your minds up, if you could let me know.
Let us know. Should we go on to the bell?
Let's go on to the bell unless
Bell.
we hear
I've
otherwise.
made a donga clanger, whatever we're calling it.
Oh, I
there.
should know.
There
What
it
are
is.
they called?
So I've made that. I don't
Clapper.
know.
It's the clapper.
Is it a clapper?
Yeah.
There you are. There you are. Learn something new
I used to
every
be a
day.
bell ringer.
Did
so I
you?
should know that. Yeah.
It's all coming
Yeah.
out now. Here it is.
The bell is in both garlands. The bell is in the short garland that comes with the Christmas pudding,
Yeah.
and it's also in the long garland that comes on its own.
That's the one. It is. So with the bell, what's absolutely lovely is that you're just using knitting and purling. So all of these patterns, I would say, brilliant for beginners, especially the scarves that we talked about. But this is some knitting and some purling. And you can see I've got a border. If I show you there, I've got a little border.
I see we
a
can go
stocking
in
stitch
close.
there. Stocking stitch border with a
Right.
garter stitch main. I go there. There we go. Is that all right?
Oh, that's lovely,
Oh,
that. That's
in fact-
really, really clear. Oh, yes.
There it is. There it is.
Sorry for people at home, it's not your eyesight.
There's the border. And what's happening is because we're creating a stocking stitch border here, it curls up. It's very cunning, and that's what gives us.
Oh, but yes, I see what
the
you mean,
lovely
because it's
shape.
lighter and
Yeah.
it does it all on
Gives
its
you the-
own.
exactly. There's no
All by its
no
own.
messing around with that.
very
So I'm
clever,
just going
that.
to show you.
It looks just like a bell as well.
It does. So sweet, isn't it? Really, really sweet. So I'm going to show you how we're creating that. I'm on the last 3 rows of this. So I'm going to go ahead with some knit stitches. These beautiful needles. I don't know quite what wood they are, but I don't know if they're bamboo, but they're so light. Some
Right.
wooden needles, when they get, the chunkier they get, the heavier
Yeah,
they
but
get.
these are nice and light,
But it's not
aren't
the
they?
case with these. So these aren't as large as the ones we're knitting on the the Santa sack.
So if you want the needles, they are all on the website.
Yeah.
Different sizes, depending on which ones
They're
you want. 'Cause
lovely.
They're not in the kits, but you can buy them on the
Yeah.
website.
So we've knitted a row of knit stitches there, and this is when I'm going to carry on with another row, and then I get down to the border. We get to the border, and we're on a knit, so that's fine. So we carry on there.
It's such a lovely idea to have a knitted garland.
I know,
I
isn't
just
it?
really want one of
Isn't it?
these.
I know. And the thing is, because it's little bits that you're knitting,
Yes.
modular almost, aren't you? You can knit a little bit now,
Yeah.
then get on with whatever it is that you're knitting, in your stash or whatever it is, other projects you've got going, and come back to it. So now I'm going to purl 4 along here where I've got my border. Sorry about the banging on the table. With
Yeah,
my
that's just an occupational hazard.
it is, isn't it?
We've got bigger
And then I
problems to worry
take the
about.
yarn to the back. So I've purled 4 there, take the yarn to the back, and I'm going to knit to the end. That's it. And that's what creates that little border that curls up by itself. You can see it curling up there.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast off now. And then I'm just going to show you how we would make that nice and neat, because if you've got 2 different sorts of knitting, so we've got garter stitch and we've got stocking stitch, we need to sew that up in such a way that we don't get our seam on the outside. So I'm just going to show you how we would go about
yes,
doing
because it needs to
that.
look seamless.
Seamless indeed.
Because this bell will hang from all angles. I mean, they really have thought about everything. That's why I
Yeah.
love wool couture
Yeah,
stuff.
me
Because
too. Everything is just
and it's
written
beautifully
so well.
designed, isn't
Yeah,
it? And
it's really nice.
And the fact you get everything in the kit and it's all lovely quality. It's like, it's just all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, you don't have to go searching for things. That's what I love about their patterns as well.
And the colours are nice, aren't they?
Gorgeous. These would go with any Christmas decor that you have. You know, if you're one of those people who have everything in one colour, well, that's great, but these are such traditional colours that they'll look beautiful with that. I don't know about you, but my Christmas tree is like a tropical Christmas tree.
Yes, there is no. I have friends who go, "Oh well, I'm having blue and silver," and I go, "I'm having what's in the box."
Yeah, what's in the box, and mine are all things that we've collected over the years, and my children get something new every year for the Christmas tree.
And then I have this plan that it's all going to be lovely. I do have lots of things like crochet baubles and stuff. Every year I add a bit more.
Me too, yeah.
But I'm thinking.
This is lovely,
and I've got a knitted nativity scene, obviously.
I've got a knitted one and a felt one. Just because you can't have too many.
You can't have too many. And I'm thinking knitted garland.
I know. So there we are. I've cast off there. And then what we're going to do with I'm going to use my darning needle from the Santa sack. Let me just take that away there. So what I'm going to do, so this is how we need this bit to be curling up. Okay?
Right.
So that bit there is going to be curling up. So I am going to sew the side seam with the curling up in the middle. And I know that sounds...
And the needle comes in the kit as well, doesn't it?
I believe so, yes. It usually does with wool couture. So I'm going to sew up, and you might be thinking, well, you've got your curling up in the middle.
Yeah.
Don't panic, because we need to sew this up, and then we're going to turn it once we get to the border. And the lovely thing I love about the chunky yarn is that it's very forgiving with your sewing as well.
Yes, you can't really see it, can you?
No, you can't really see it. So I'm just picking up the edges there until I get to that stocking stitch border. So there we go, one more. And then I'm going to turn it inside out like so. And then the border for the sewing for the little curled bit is going to be on this side, because if you think about it, as it curls, you're not then going to see, whereas if we'd have stitched it that way, we might have had a little ridge there. So we just turn it over and finish that on that side. There we go, like so. Finishing that. And then if I just bring that through to the inside, we can cut that off, and then I can just attach the little, what were we going for? Donger? Clanger? I don't know what we were.
Clapper.
I mean, all equally brilliant.
Clapper.
There we go. Thread that through. So you will make that, and then we can attach that to the inside. I would say the instructions will tell you how to attach this all together. I would say attach this now before we then go and gather up those top stitches.
Oh, okay.
Just a little tip, because as you're attaching it to the top, what you don't want is loads of stitches to come out the top. So if we do this now, I'm just attaching it in one area like so, and then I'm going to put that down there. It's more forgiving if we attach this first and then we go to get a little bit of scrap yarn that I've saved over from the sewing up, and then I'm just going to thread through, and all I'm doing is just gathering up the stitches backwards and forwards, making sure that where I've attached the clapper, it is on the inside.
Right, and then that just pulls the top in.
And then that just pulls the top through and makes that lovely bell shape.
That's amazing.
Isn't it
That's
lovely?
so effective, isn't it?
Yeah. Or they've really thought about, I love the way that they've really thought about, well, you know, the bell needs to curl. How's the best way to do that? Oh, fine. Well, we'll just use, you know, the stocking stitch.
Yeah, because it could have just been it all the way through and then it wouldn't
flat.
have.
Yeah.
So this bell is in both garlands. So if you buy the Christmas garland knitting kit, that's the one that's on the left of the screen, $49.99. And we're very limited on that one. But the garland, shorter version of, is also with the Christmas pudding. So in that kit, you get the Christmas pudding and the garland as well.
The other thing on the garland are these gorgeous, gorgeous holly leaves. as well.
Yes, and that's on both garlands.
Yeah, on both garlands, holly leaves. And again, the technique is making a bobble, and then we've got these lovely yarn overs to make essentially what we would do with a...
That's really clever, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah. So it's just like a buttonhole, really, or a bit of lace that we're creating.
But it makes a real texture, because it could, like you say, it could have been a solid leaf, but no.
A solid flat leaf.
It's got veins.
Thought about that, and it's really pretty. I can show you how to make the bobble if you would like.
Yeah, do.
Okay, let me put... I'd save some stitches on a cable needle over here, so I'm just going to pop those onto my needle. When you're putting stitches back onto your needle, just as a little aside, make sure you're going purlwise, and then they will be the right way round for when we start knitting again. That one needs to go on there, because I have made, let me turn it around like that, I've made 2 bobbles already.
Oh,
okay. See those? I've made 2 bobbles there in the chunky. They don't need stuffing because they sit really nice and proudly.
Yeah, because they're nice and squidgy anyway.
So I'm going to show you how to make the bobble, and the instructions are all in there as well. So that creates those 3 berries on the top, and then we change colour, which I can show you as well. So what we're going to do, we've got 1 stitch left. So we're going to knit as normal into the front. Then we're going to take our needle to the back, and we are going to knit into the back of the stitch. We're not going to take the stitch off, because we're going to do it again. We're going to knit into the front and the back again. So we are increasing 1 stitch, and we're making it 4 stitches. So there are my 4 stitches.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 there.
Yeah, so you just knit front, back, front, back, front, back.
And then I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to purl them. And this is the same for all of the bobbles that you're making. I'm going to purl those 4 stitches. There we go, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to turn it again. Ooh. And now I'm going to knit for the first 2 together. Let's get that little tail out of the way there. I'm going to knit those 2 together.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do a slip, slip, knit, which is a slightly different way of decreasing, but makes it nice and even or symmetrical on both sides.
Right. So rather than knitting the 2 together, you slip, knit.
Because the knitting, all the decreases that you do will have a slant in a certain direction. So knitting 2 together creates a right-leaning slant. Well, we want to then create a left-leaning slant so that it's symmetrical. So the way that we do that is we slip. So we slip the first one knitwise, and then we slip the second one purlwise. So those are both now on my right hand needle, but what I'm going to do is put the left hand needle back in, and then I'm going to knit them together like so. So I've created, there we go, just got 2 stitches like that. So it just makes
it's a neater way of knitting 2 together.
And then we're going to pass, we want to get back down to 1 stitch, so we're going to pass that stitch over the top of that one, and there
now you've got a berry.
Is my little berry. There it is. So the next row, we've made our bobbles. The next row, we are going to knit 2 together before we get round to the changing the colour. Knit 2 together, knit 1, there we go, and then we're going to do the slip, slip, knit again. So we go knitwise, as if to knit, as if to purl, pop your needle back in, pull it through. Oh, there we go, we've got that last one, like so. And now we're going to change colour. So we've got this gorgeous green, this olivey green, which is just lush,
Well, it's like a kind of a spruce, isn't it? It makes you think of...
It's such a beautiful colour. I really love it. Yeah, like a tree.
Yeah, like a proper Christmas.
Yeah.
It's not your normal Christmas green.
No,
like
it's not. I think it's not like a foresty green, is it? That's which I think would be too harsh on these colours. It just goes beautifully with the red and the brown, which is a real gingery brown, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it? I think it's called a hazelnut. I think, but it is got a red to it,
gorgeous.
hasn't it?
So we're going to show you. You've probably seen this if you've seen me knit Couture before. You've probably seen me just do this little technique that I do to make sure that your colours, when you're doing colour changes, it's nice and neat. So I've slipped my new colour over, and then in the next stitch, sorry. Picked up something nothing there. On my next stitch, I'm going to knit with both the tail and the working yarn. And then I drop the tail and carry on. And when we come back, those 2 stitches there, or what's essentially 2 bits of yarn, we're just treating them as one. I'm going to do a little bit of increasing here.
So why do you do that then?
I do that so that so that it doesn't escape.
Okay.
It's just a much neater way, I think, of joining your yarn, so you don't end up with a loopy first. Because if you just joined your yarn there, but didn't attach it with the tail and the working yarn, you'd have quite a loopy first stitch. That's what I find, and I think it's from teaching beginners. So when I teach beginners, one of the things that they really dislike is this first stitch not looking like a stitch, and they don't know where to put their needle. So I've found that by doing using the tail and the working yarn on that second stitch when you're changing colour, just eradicates that, and so it's
and also it saves knotting or anything like that.
And I absolutely hate knotting.
It's funny because I start new colours in crochet like that, and I'd never thought about doing it with knitting.
There you go.
I don't know why. I never would do that in knitting, but I always do it in crochet.
And you can always tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah,
there we go.
Brilliant.
And then the holes are created with some yarn forwards, all in the pattern. You've got a bit of increasing and decreasing going on there.
But it's all in there.
To make that gorgeous shape, yeah, all in the pattern. Really beautiful.
So thank you for that, Carrie. We are going to finish there so that we can. We're not going to do the gingerbread. We've missed the time.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The gingerbread man. You can see he's knitted from the legs up.
Okay.
So you can see there's the start of one little leg there. The start of a leg, and then I'm using that technique of the increasing and decreasing to make those lovely that lovely shaping. So there's the leg as well. That's the whole leg there. And then you would knit one leg. You put that on some spare yarn or needle holder, whatever you've got.
Oh, okay, I get you.
And then you knit your other
leg.
And then you join them together. And that's how, and so you do exactly the same. We're not changing colour because eventually I'm going to get onto brown here is my next colour. I'll get onto the brown, and then we add a new colour. We add our brown, and we just carry on knitting across the whole two legs.
And he is beautiful, isn't he?
You sew up the back.
Really
I think it's really, really good.
Oh, I quite want him.
Yeah, he is gorgeous.
Actually, I quite want all of them.
I know. Going to start knitting now for Christmas. It's just lovely.
Well, thank you so much, and you've been fantastic.
Fantastic
camera work
with your camera,
and not being able to do it ahead and do it upside down. You've been a star. Thank you so much.
No, that's absolutely fine. I'm really
So we're going
pleased.
to pan back round again. There's the cleaning materials in the corner.
We could have moved this in that time. Never mind.
We could have no. Oh, it's my hat. Oh, I haven't been able to see myself.
Take mine off
funny.
now.
Love the hat. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry that the cameras have been really off, but I think that Carrie's done an amazing job. So we are going to try and fix this. Just going to recap over the kits. Gingerbread Man. There's lots of these in baskets. He is beautiful. I mean, look at the size of him. He really is a perfect present for someone forever. Pass him down. What a lovely thing to have as like a cushion on your sofa at Christmas. He's just gorgeous, isn't he? But really lovely thing to give to someone, the kit as a gift. If they're new to knitting or they've just started and they want to do something lovely, he's just gorgeous, isn't he? And remember, we are launching the Christmas range by Couture this year. How lucky are we? How lucky are we? That's because we're Yarn Lane. That's because we're the only TV shopping channel that only does yarn. So we get the joy of launching their Christmas collection. So that's the Gingerbread Man. Loads of them in baskets. Please do check out. Otherwise, there's not very many at all left of those. So the next one is the sack. Now remember how easy this, starting with the cream, how easy this is because it isn't in tassel Fair Isle. It is duplicate stitch. So you stitch on top of the knitting afterwards. And remember, these are all knitted in this beautiful chunky merino yarn. The instructions have charts for all of the letters so you can personalise them, but it is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? This is a real heirloom sack, and it is, remember, it is 100% merino yarn, so it's beautiful. So that's the cream one. And then we also have it in grey. There we go. That was letter A. £79.99. Everything you need is in this kit. Beautiful wool. And this will last every Christmas forever. Gorgeous. Absolutely love this. So soft. Soft as a gingerbread man. Next, Christmas pudding. I love that. I want this as a cushion on my sofa. But you could have it, so yes, you could put pellets in the bottom, obviously it's a big doorstop. But
That's a good idea, yeah, I like that idea.
I think I'd have it as a cushion, because you know you spend a fortune on different Christmas decorations, but you should have Christmas cushions or a big doorstop. But what a lovely present. Oh, in this you also get the pattern and the yarn to make the small garland. I think I've got the big one here. The smaller one just has holly and bells, but so it's not in that kit. It isn't just the Christmas pudding, it is the smaller garland as well. Then we have the big garland on its own, which is this one here, which has most popular thing today. It has trees, bells, holly and baubles. I mean, you could hang this over the fireplace, round a mirror. You could hang it on the tree. It's lovely, isn't it? It's a lovely present for somebody. You know, with those people you think, I've really no idea what to give that person for Christmas. Everybody would love a knitted garland. Put it in a box, wrap it, and then on Christmas morning, they can put it straight on their tree. But those people that you don't know what to buy for, that's perfect. 2 scarves next. So we've got the adult scarves. These are candy cane because they look just like candy canes. And if you've got the hat, then the scarf matches it. Again, knitted in this beautiful soft merino yarn. Real talking piece. You will be the only person wearing this at Christmas on the bus. It's lovely, isn't it? But this is ideal for beginners. It's all knitted in garter stitch. So it's one of those things that people often start with is in a scarf. So if you're going to knit a scarf, make it a merino wool candy cane one because it's gorgeous. So that's the adult scarf. And then, oh, just got poked in the eye by a pom-pom. Then the child, God, that really did smack me in the eye. Then the child scarf, obviously much thinner and shorter, and that's in white, red. And then again, that's your candy cane. So lovely gift for a child to make their own scarf. And then finally the hat, which I'm wearing here, which you can, in the kit, are the instructions to knit it from toddler all the way up to men's size. And it's lovely. You can make it as big as you want, and it's really so soft and warm. And, you know, if you often can't wear wool because it's too itchy, this really isn't. But you can make it big enough and cover your ears. But what a lovely thing. You know, rather than wearing one of those sort of cheap and horrible Christmas hats, knit yourself one forever. $39.99, absolute bargain. Absolute bargain. So thank you so much for joining us so far. We are going to have a slightly longer break than normal so that we can hopefully fix these cameras because we've got Christmas socks next and we really need to get close up with this. Everything is on the website and it's all available on pre-order, so please have a look through. We will be a little bit longer than normal. Please don't go anywhere because we've got pre-made socks and we've got knit your own socks and we've got Christine Winwick Mum here who's going to show you how to do them. So please bear with us and we will see you back here in a few minutes' time. And welcome back to Yarn Lane. It's Christmas and I think the cameras are fixed. Even better. So if you're with us in the last hour and it was all a bit odd because all the cameras broke except for one. But we've sorted it. Well, when I say we, Elliot sorted it. No, he sorted it because I was willing it to be sorted, but it's sorted now. Anyway, so we're all about Christmas socks in this hour. I'm really excited that we've got Christine Winwick Mum on air because who else to do Christmas socks with us but her? But what I discovered when we were looking at the Christmas yarn was that West Yorkshire Spinners actually sell pre-made socks. Now, I know that is not in the essence of Yarn Lane and it is actually cheating, but they sent me a pair for free. And I absolutely love them because I said, well, I'm not sure because they are pre-made. But then I found out they are made from West Yorkshire Spinners Blueface Leicester yarn. They are made in Leicester, strangely. So they are British yarn, made in Britain, and they are absolutely amazing. So I went, oh, go on then. I'll wear the pair you send me for free. And they are fantastic. They are thick and not thick like super chunky like you'd wear with boots, but the bottom of them are triple knitted or stitched. So they're really soft and lovely to wear. You can wear them with winter boots. I wear them around the house at the moment when my feet are a bit cold and don't want to wear slippers. They are lovely. Now, they come in 3 different size ranges. So you either have 3 to 5, 6 to 8, or 9 to 11. So it goes from sort of small ladies up to large men's. So, and I've got them in 3 different colours. So there's 9 choices, 3 sizes, 3 colours. So let's start with Holly Berry. That's these here. This is size 3 to 5. That's the one that's on now. They're £16.95 a pair, which is fantastic value, I think, for 100% British wool. Well, it's not. It's 90% wool and 90% lycra because you need that for the strength. But it's that's nearly 100%, isn't it? But you need that for the strength. What a lovely gift. And honestly, after I'd had my pair and then bought my dad a pair for Father's Day, he absolutely loved them as well. They're just brilliant. You're not supposed to put them in the washing machine. I did, and they're fine, but don't tumble dry them. But what a lovely gift. So theirs on screen is size 6 to 8. So all you need to do is choose the colourway and then choose the sizes. Now I'm a size 5 and I got the smaller size 3 to 5 and they were perfect, just so you know. So you just got to choose. What a lovely Christmas present. And finally, size 9 to 11. So there's your men's sizes, really, unless you're a lady with very big feet, but mainly men's sizes. British Flocks make super socks. That's what it says on them. So that is Holly Berry. We've also got them in Silent Night, which is this lovely blue, variegated blue yarn. So we've got them in sizes 3 to 5. Which is one there. They're all the same price, whatever size you have. Which is fab, and they smell like sheep. That's what I love about them. They actually smell like sheep. Well, that's probably because they are sheep. So this is the first time we've ever done them, and I know it is a bit odd that we're doing pre-made socks, but I just thought, to convince you how beautiful it is to wear socks knitted from this beautiful yarn. If you don't want to knit them or you want to buy some pre-made, to convince yourself how easy it is to knit your own. And sizes 6 to 8. That's the one that's coming in now, £16.95. And then again, these are made, these come in sizes 9 to 11. I do like the Silent Night. It's really lovely, sort of like variegated shades of navy and pale blue. Gorgeous. And I think it's just lovely, the fact that they are, British yarn, and they're made in Britain as well. I just think that's a very good price. When they told me about them, I thought they'd be a lot more expensive than that. So that's all the Silent Night. And then the final colour is Fairy Lights. I love Fairy Lights. Look how pretty. It looks like little fairy lights, doesn't it? Now, you'll see in a minute, we're going to be selling the sock yarn to knit your own socks, and you can get Fairy Lights, but the Fairy Lights yarn in the socks has a little sparkle. The pre-made doesn't have the little sparkle. Don't know why. Maybe it was too difficult.
It's because we keep the best yarn for the hand knitters.
Oh, right, yes. It's because we keep the best yarn for the hand knitters. They get the sparkle. I wondered whether it sort of messed up the machine or something.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just biased towards hand knitting.
Yeah, exactly. But, it gives everyone the choice, doesn't it? And it also goes to persuade you how much cheaper it is to knit your own socks.
It's a lot cheaper.
But honestly, these are amazing. Knit socks, but buy a pair of these. Because I just love them. And I was really like, I don't think we'll sell those. And then I got some, they're lovely. They are very limited, but, lovely thing to pop in your basket and as an extra Christmas present. And they are really nice. Get that Christmas drawer stocked up. If you do a little bit as you go along. And they are Blue-Faced Leicester as well, which we know is our equivalent of the merino, isn't it? So those are all the Yarn Lane loves, West Yorkshire Spinners, pre-made yarn. If you really don't want to knit your own, or you want to knit your own and buy some as well, we've got the 3 colourways. So you've got to choose between Fairy Lights, Holly Berry and Silent Night, all in 3 sizes, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 11. If you go onto the website, you can see all the details. I've written all the details of what each size are and what's in them, and then you can choose. Yes, you are supposed to hand wash them, but actually, I put mine in the washing machine. And I'd like to say I did that as a test, but I didn't. I did it by accident. And they're fine. But I will not recommend anyone else to do that, just in case, because it doesn't say that. But I did put mine in the washing machine. And they were fine. Luckily, I didn't tumble dry them. I think they may not have been. Right, anyway. But if you do want to knit your own socks, this is all about Christmas socks today. So we've got Christy with us, who has designed all of the patterns in the Christmas socks book. This is a beautiful book. As always, with your West Yorkshire Spinners, they are spiral bound, which makes it so much easier to knit from. Very important. Can't believe this is only £8.50. It's cheap, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to say it. It's inexpensive. It's affordable.
It's excellent value because it's got 7 patterns in it.
7 patterns, that's amazing.
It is amazing.
So you can knit a whole week's worth of Christmas socks here.
You can indeed.
Wow. So let's have a quick look through them. Now, the yarns used in this book, we have 4. I don't have all of them, but we've got some of them, just so you can have a go and do your own. So, and they're all named after reindeers. So we've got Dasher, which is the ribbon texture pattern. We've got Prancer, the ribbon mock. Blitzen paper chain, I quite like the idea of that. Dancer, the ripple panel socks. Vixen, the lace panel knee high. And Comet, the lace panel socks. And one more. About 6.
Yes, yeah. There's a slouchy version of the knee-high
Oh,
socks.
I see.
There,
okay.
There isn't a photo of them.
So all of the details. I mean, look at those. That's Holly Berry, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm getting to know these now. Holly Berry. That's Candy Cane. Those, aren't they gorgeous? But everything you need to know is in here, and I love the way there's lots of close-up photos. It's only people who knit that know the importance of a close-up photo.
It just makes it easier if you're not quite sure, and you can look at a picture
you can think,
and you
oh,
can see
how
how
am
the
I going
heel
along?
is. Yeah.
Particularly because it's in stripes, you can actually see where you're going.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Then we've got the paper chain socks. These are knitted in the robin, which we don't have today, but we do have the bullfinch, which is very similar to the robin. I'll show you all the yarns in a minute. So look, £8.50, 7 pairs of socks. And they're gorgeous, and I love the fairy lights. But the fairy lights yarn that we have has got sparkles in it. I will show you that in a minute. There's the Vixen ones. Knee high, so are they sort of designed for underneath boots?
Yes. I wasn't sure about knee-high socks in the beginning because I was thinking, who wears knee-high socks? And then I was asking on social media, and it turns out that people wear knee-high socks when they're with wellies, with riding boots, with motorcycle boots.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. I never even thought about it. So
you were thinking with the skirt,
and
weren't
loads
you?
Yeah, I suppose I was. Maybe I was thinking about school actually, and I was well, I'd be forever pulling them up, and there'd be a draft, and I didn't like it. So I absolutely didn't think about it, but loads and loads of people want to knit knee-high socks.
Well, also in the winter as well, if you're wearing them underneath trousers, it just keeps you a bit warmer, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
That's a nice present, though, to knit somebody a pair of knee-high socks, isn't it? Wow. Those are knitted in the Silent Night. And then we've got the lace panel socks, so these are just normal shorter ones. And that's all of them. I mean, that is all of those 7 patterns in this book for just £8.50. Now, we have got 4 of the balls of yarn. Every year, West Yorkshire Spinners brings out a brand new Christmas sock yarn. We can't have it yet. I don't think it comes out till about October. And so they haven't got any of the Silent Night, couldn't get that, but we have got 4 of the other colours. Now, we are selling these separately. Remember, 1 ball of yarn will make a pair of socks and maybe a little bit more. Isn't it? You can make 3 pairs from 2 balls. Possibly, if they're small enough.
If they're small, I would say two pairs from 2 balls. It depends on the mix and match and
but you can definitely make 1 pair. You only need 1 ball for a pair.
Yes.
So this is Candy Cane. Now remember, the yarn that West Yorkshire Spinners do, it is Blueface Leicester. It's 75% Blueface Leicester, 25% nylon. It has to have the nylon in it because it's for socks and they need to be strong. But it is British Blueface Leicester yarn, which makes it very, very soft. But this you can machine wash. Now, is that because of the nylon?
It's because of the way that they produce the yarn. It's how it. It's how they make it. It's part of their process.
Right.
And
okay.
I don't know. It's all secret stuff. They don't tell me. But what I do know is that you can put it in the washing machine. You've got to treat them with respect. Really.
Yes,
so I
because you've spent a long time.
Yeah, I only ever put mine in on a 30-degree delicates wash. I put them in a bag, so they all stay together. I never put them in the tumble dryer. I always dry them.
Well, you spent a long time knitting them.
Well, you do, and lots of people won't even put them in the washing machine. They'll only hand wash them, and that makes them last longer.
Well, this is, you only need one ball for one pair of socks. So the candy cane, £7.50. That's classic, and it is dyed so that it stripes, which I think is really clever. I have absolutely no idea how they work that out, but it is dyed so that when you knit them, it stripes like that. That's amazing. Don't know how they do that. Right, the next colour we have is Fairy Lights, which we have seen in the pre-made socks, but this Fairy Lights, if I turn it around, has a sparkle. It has just a little bit of polyester, and it gives it that tiny little bit of sparkle. So look, there's the Fairy Lights. Let's have a look at them in the flesh. That's what they look like. But obviously you can use any of the yarns for any of the socks. You don't have to use the Fairy Lights yarn for the Fairy Lights sock. You can use them in any shape or form. One ball, £7.50, and you only need one ball for a pair of socks. You can use it for anything. I mean, people use the 4-ply yarn. You could use it for all sorts. You don't have to use it for socks. Any 4-ply patterns it will work with. It's just that this has been developed perfectly for socks, but you can use it for anything. The next one is Holly Berry, and it really is a holly berry. I love that one. I like the deep green in there and the shades of red. Let me find the picture of the holly berry. Was that one a bit? Oh, there we go. And again, it's stripes. How do they do that?
Well, magic.
Magic.
They have the Dye House elves on the Christmas yarn.
I know, because it really is striping. And actually, when you see the pre-made ones, which are made using the same yarn, that's stripes. So amazing.
It helps you to knit faster with stripes.
Yeah, I can see that, because you'd think, oh, great, I'm going to get on to the next one.
And if you're ever knitting really big socks for some either the knee-high socks or someone with big feet, then using striped yarn just keeps you going.
Yeah.
Plain yarn, it's hard.
It's hard. Striped yarn
with plain
helps
yarn,
you to knit
striped yarn
faster.
is much easier.
I love that. So that's the Holly Berry, £7.50. Remember, you only need one ball for one pair of socks. And then finally we have Bullfinch, which is from their Country Bird collection, but it's a really Christmassy colour, because you've got the charcoal, the white and the red. So that's one ball. You only need one. Gorgeous, aren't they? Now, we also have a special offer. This is the final. If you want to buy the pattern book and you want all 4 balls of yarn, you can buy them all together for a 10% saving. £34.65. So you make 4 pairs of socks minimum. You might have enough left for a 5th. They might be slightly multicoloured, but there we are.
That just makes them more festive.
Just makes them more fun, but you'll definitely get 4 pairs. And the pattern book, save 10%, only £34.65. And this is top quality sock yarn. This is the best, and a fantastic pattern book as well. So that's all the things. Right, and then welcome Christine. Hello. Christine. So what are you going to show us today? Because obviously you've shown us loads of things in the past. If you want to see any of Christine's tutorials, you just need to put in Winwick Mum Yarn Lane into YouTube and it'll come up.
It does.
It does. There you go. You can guarantee it comes up.
It does. Somebody asked me. I felt very strange Googling my own name, but yes, it does.
Wow.
Yes, it does. So today I was going to talk to you about cables, because there are 2 socks in this range that have got cables, and for people who've not done them before, then they are really quite daunting, really. The thought of having an extra little needle to move things about, and you take stitches to the back or the front, and there's so much scope for dropping stitches, and nobody likes the idea of doing that. So I brought a cable
Wow,
sample to show
so
you.
which patterns have the cable in?
It is the Fairy Lights one, which I can't.
Dancer.
I can't. I'm glad you've got that.
Dancer,
I can never remember
the ripple panel
I can't remember the names in the song, so I'm never going to remember remember them separately. And also this one, which I think is called Blitzen with the paper chain cable.
It is.
And
yes.
this one needs 2 cable needles, and that sounds like it's going to be the most horrendous thing to knit in the world, but it's really not. If you can cable and you understand the way that it works, then it's really quite simple.
About they are on the website. If you just go on, click on watch live, you will see them, all of them. They're all on the pre-order because I put all this, because they are very specific, the needles you need for sock knitting. They've got to be right. So in fact, when Christine first came on air, we bought them then, so that we have the right ones, because it's important, isn't it? It's
yes,
nothing worse than not being able to get the right needles.
And I think also not having the right ones or not having good quality ones, it just makes you want to throw them really, really quickly. And nobody likes that. You know, they don't like to be frustrated when the yarn isn't going around the needle properly, or you're getting stuck on a.
But we've
on
got
jagged edge,
nice quality ones, because I did check first.
You've bought the right ones
and the right length. Well, we've got a question. What's the question? Hi girls, are these patterns knitted on DPN or circular needles? I cannot use the DPN. There you go.
Oh, you can knit these socks on whatever you like, because the pattern just gives you the instructions. So you can, I knit on circular needles, so I haven't talked about splitting the stitches across DPNs as some people might do if it's specifically written for that. But you can split the stitches however you like. So if you do knit on double points, then it's easy to split them the way that you would normally do for a sock. And if you knit on circular needles, then you just follow the pattern as it is with whichever type of circular needle you like to knit with.
Perfect. Thank you very much. There you go. And we have both sets of needles.
You do.
For sale, so you can choose which ones you have. Okay. So cables.
Yes, cables. So I'll just.
So is it best, if you're new to sock knitting, not to start with a cable?
Oh, do you know what? I'm all about being a fearless knitter.
Complete beginner style here.
If you love the cable pattern, then that's for you. Just go for it. Absolutely go for it. I think that sometimes we get on better if we don't know what we can't do.
I like that, yes.
Do you see, there are lots of things that I wouldn't have done if I'd stopped to think about whether
if you thought about whether you could do. No, you're right, actually. Well, things like driving, you'd never drive, would you?
No, I'd never have written my books or anything if I'd actually stopped to think about it. You've just got to launch and have a do so. So so what I've done is I've brought this little flat sample here. So this is an example of cables, because they come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So so these cables here are just fairly simple cables that twist over each other. They take 4 stitches, and 2 stitches cross over the other. And what I've done is I've got one cable going one direction and the other cable going in the other direction, but there's still the same 4 stitches on both of them. And the way that I've done it is I've either just pulled the stitches forward or I've pulled the stitches back. And if we have a look at how this one is in the Fairy Lights yarn, that's still a cable. And whilst it might look different to this one, it's still the same, absolutely the same thing. So you would pull the stitches forward, or in this case, you do pull the stitches forward and then you pull some back, and that makes it wiggle. And once you can understand the pattern. And there's always an abbreviations list in the pattern that tells you what to do. And then there'll be, so for example, this yellow one here, this might be called something like C4F or C4B.
Yes.
The C stands for cable, the 4 stands for the 4 stitches that's in total, and then the B or the F would tell you to take the stitches forward or take them back, so that you could.
And it says that all at the front of the book.
It says that at the front of the book.
Oh yeah, it tells you exactly.
I've got beginner tutorials on my blog to help people at least get started, and then once you've understood it, it opens up a whole world of
whole world of socks.
And it's, you know, cables are not just on socks; they're on hats, they're on scarves, they're on jumpers, they're on cardigans. They're everywhere. And if you can read the written pattern, and then you can read the chart that goes with it, which I always think is much easier. Then there's absolutely no stopping you. So the main thing really when you're knitting cables is to not panic. That's always the first thing. So I'll show you how how I do this one here. So I've got a border edge of just 4 plain stitches, and then I've got 2 purled stitches, which makes my cable stand out, and then here I am with my 4 cabled stitches now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is my cable needle. It's a small straight one. If you don't have a cable needle, you can use a double pointed needle, but you can see how much bigger it is, and
I think we do. I think the ones we have on the website, the ones with the little lumps in them, so they don't fall out.
Generally, I think it's better to use a small one, and one with a bend so they don't fall. That's also good as well.
Yeah, they've got little. I don't know what they're called. Oh, wiggly. They're wiggly kinks.
Yeah,
kinks, not lumps.
But it's not great when you are doing cables or doing anything
That's a technical term.
We'll go with that one. And then suddenly everything's dropped off and your stitches are hanging off, and it's not fun. So you'll have to excuse the needle noise while I'm trying to show you.
It's an occupational hazard.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide these first 2 stitches onto my cable needle. So they're quite safe, they're not going anywhere, I've not lost them. And I'm going to knit them again, so I've still got the same number of stitches. But because I want my cable to twist in this way, I'm going to push them.
So is this knit 4 backwards or knit 4?
This will be cable 4 backwards.
Backwards, so C4B.
Yes, so it explains exactly what you're doing. So the cable needle and the stitches are going backwards, behind the needle. And then you knit the next 2 stitches, which moves them over. And then you knit the 2 stitches off the cable needle. This is where it can often be a little bit fiddly, but just stick with it, go slowly. And when you take them off, you don't need your cable needle again, and you can see that it's
twisted them round each other.
It's twisted, but you've still got the same 4 stitches. And so as long as you're following the instructions and the pattern, which will tell you what to do with them.
Yeah, no, I've read at the front. So C4B, and it says exactly how you do it.
So even when we look at the cable that's here in the what's this one called? Blitzen. I want to call it Christmas Robin because originally that's what it was called.
Yes,
I
think it is called that.
Then when you look at the cables here, then there's still that these ones have got the same flat stitches here with pearls in the middle, and then this little lump here.
Oh wow, I can see the paper chain.
So that's what makes them look like paper chains.
Oh, that's magic.
And so in this section here, you're actually doing a cable like I've just shown you, but then you're doing an extra bit to carry that over. But as long as you're following the pattern and you're sliding the stitches on in the order that it tells you to do that.
I love that.
You're not losing anything. You're not dropping anything. And then the best way to understand how to work that with the written instructions, if you're not comfortable with charts, is look at what the written instructions say and then compare that to what you can see on the chart, and then gradually you'll get to work it out, because the chart will just be a small symbol. And then if you need to have a reminder of how you do it, then you go back and look at the written instructions. But you'll find that because the chart generally is much smaller to look at, then it becomes less complicated than looking at, say,
and I think also it's just like you wonder when you start a pattern, I'll never remember that, and when you've done it 10 times, you think, how could I not have remembered it?
No, exactly. And on these ones,
I love the paper chain one.
It only goes down to, these are very long and fall off the end of my feet, because these are a man-sized sock,
right?
Which was so. The models in that book, we have male and female models in there, so that you can see that these socks are for everybody.
And you can still get the man size out of one ball.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But the actual cables only go down to the ankle, because the little lumpy bit isn't that comfortable in your boots.
Oh, I see. Well, no, that makes sense.
You see, so I mean, some people have chosen to carry them on all the way down, and you can do that. There's absolutely no reason why. But I'm like the Princess and the Pea. I probably wouldn't want to. The slightest thing that's not comfy.
That's fair enough.
I would probably.
I
prefer
love
not
that.
to
I think
do
that pattern is really clever.
Oh, it took me a long time to actually settle on it, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's something. It seems obvious when you've got it. You look at it and you think, oh yeah.
But all those patterns, 7 patterns, including that one, are all in the book, which I can't believe is only £8.50. But if that's the book on its own, is £8.50. But if you want the special bundle, 4 balls of Christmas yarn and the book, 10% off, £34.65, and you get it's our little Christmas gift to you in July. A Christmas gift. So you get 4 balls of yarn and the pattern book, 10% off, £34.65. So back to the cable.
Yes. So I've just gone across the central section, and the thing that you often notice about cable patterns is that they might take more stitches than you would think would do for a normal pattern, and that's because the cables themselves will pull in slightly. It'll say on the patterns whether you need to. I don't think any of these patterns you need to change the size because they're all ribbed, which makes them stretchy, so that compensates. But this one, I'm going to do the cable in the opposite direction. So I put my cable needle in again, and I'm going to take my 2 stitches off, and this time I'm going to hold them at the front.
Right, yes, okay.
So I just keep it there. Nothing's going to fall off. It's all quite safe. If you've got the kinked cable needle, and definitely nothing's falling off. And then I knit my next 2 stitches, and then I pull it across and knit the 2 off the cable needle again. And some cables are enormous. You know, they can be 8 stitches, 12 stitches. You know, absolutely.
Yeah, is there a limit to how many stitches you can have in a cable?
I don't know that I've seen any that are bigger than about 16 stitches in total. So you'd have 8 on each twist. But
because there must be only so far you can twist.
I think what happens is that the cable itself becomes very open.
Okay.
And so where these are quite tight.
I see what you mean. You'd have like little pockets.
Yeah, the wider each half of the cable is, then the looser the cable looks itself. So I think there's, you know, that probably determines on how far you would go with that. So then what you would do on a sock, you would just keep knitting round with this one, because I'm knitting it flat. Then I'd turn round and I would just knit and purl all the way back, and then you.
Oh, so you don't cable on the back?
No, that's it. You only do 1 cable round every so often. So with this one, I've only done it every 6 rounds, I think. So that's the only one that you have to remember. And if you're keeping track of what you're doing, and I often have a piece of paper and I write all the row numbers out, and then I might do a box around the ones that need the cable, and then I'll tick them off as I go along. And when I reach the one that's got the cable, I'll remember that that's where it is. And then particularly if you're doing cables on 2 sides, it helps to keep them neat. Or with this one, for example, the cables are every so often. I mean, it was quite easy to tell, certainly when you do the second sock, because you can see where the cable is with the stripes. So
which is why stripe yarn is better.
Yeah, stripy yarn is fabulous.
It is. No, it's just because when you look at the yarn, it doesn't look stripy. So you think, how does that work?
Well, the Country Birds one don't look as obviously striped as Candy Cane, because when you look at the Country Birds, then it's. Actually, this is hollyberry, isn't it? As opposed to a bird, it's got the little lines of.
That's the sort of variegated speckly bits.
Whereas if you compare that to, whoops, let me move fairy lights out of the way. If you compare that to Candy Cane, then these are very obvious stripes. And when you look at the ball, you can see that.
Yes, because that's solid colours, whereas that's got the variegated. But that just gives you that variegation between the stripes.
That's right. And so you can often tell
like when something.
Yeah, you can often tell when you look at the ball what the difference is. So this one, Hollyberry, is actually a really good one for people who are not feeling like they want to launch into all of the patterns. This is the simplest one in, so that's in the book.
Their Dasher ribbon textured pattern.
Yes, Dasher. This is it. So it's rib. That's all that it is, and then it's got a textured panel in the middle of knit and purl stitches just to lift it a little bit out of the ordinary.
So would that be the best place to start if you were going to do?
I would say so. I would say this is the one that's up from a basic plain sock. So if you've only ever done basic socks and you think that you want to do something that's a little bit different, but you're not quite ready to launch into the paper chain cables, then this one. Do this one first to help get your confidence up. This one looks like cables, but actually it's not. It's twisted stitches, and anybody who does my patterns will know I've got a bit of a thing about twisted stitches.
How do we do that then?
So we've actually done those before on I think it was when we did the seasons.
Oh
yarn.
yes,
That was the demo that we did on that one because 2 of the seasons patterns have got panels of twisted stitches down, and this is just a slightly extended panel that goes a bit further along. So it does look like cables, but it's not. There's no cable needle required for this one.
Right.
So
okay.
but the way that the stripes lean, they go in opposite ways on both socks, so that you can choose which way around you use them, and they'll either go in.
Well,
or
it
go
works
out.
quite well with the striped yarn as well, doesn't it? Because it just gives it a bit of movement, like a zigzag almost.
It does. It's actually not as easy as you might think to find patterns that work well with striped yarn.
Oh, okay.
It's and what I also liked about this one is that I had the candy cane stripes, but then these reminded me of candy cane sweeties when you look at the way that it goes round. So I was inordinately pleased with myself when I decided that was the pattern that was going to work with this one. And even from the beginning, I'd been thinking that I wanted to have something that swirled and twisted because I just like the way that it works with the sweeties. So that they're. This is more complicated, I would say, but again, no cable needle required. This is lace, so this is Comet, and this is the.
Okay.
So this is what the hand knit version of your socks,
my
socks
my
look
Silent
like.
Night socks. Yes.
Yeah. So this one's also got a sparkle in it, and you might be able to get hold of.
We
can't
at the moment,
on.
but that's why we've got just the other 4 instead.
But and then this particular lace panel is one of 3 versions of this sock. So the Comet is the short socks version, and then there's Vixen, which is a in 2 versions. One of them is a slouch socks, which we don't show, and that looks very similar to this.
So what does that just mean? One. It's wider.
No, it means that it's longer. It's maybe a little bit longer, but this one you can see it's ribbed.
Oh, okay.
And let me see if I can show you on this one. Then, because this is the knee-high one, we've got decreases that come all the way down. So we've got
so it gets wider for your calf.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because you need to consider calf shaping once you start to go higher up than your calf, basically.
Yeah,
otherwise
yes.
they don't fit. So when you're making this sock, then you take foot measurements and you take calf measurements as well.
Wow!
So that you'd make sure that they were like a proper fit for you, because that's the thing about hand knits.
So it says like for knee-high socks, cast on the number of stitches for your calf circumference.
Yeah, that's right. Because the thing about hand knits, as you know, is that they come in your size. That you're not.
Yeah.
You're not
I like that though, because you've said to fit calf circumference, if you've got 17 inch, you need to cast on this number of stitches. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So you've worked it all out for everyone.
I have indeed. Yep, that's all worked out, and it looks a bit like a tree. I really like that.
Yeah, no, it's lovely, isn't it? And to fit ball of foot circumference.
That's right, because you need to make sure that you go down to your foot size as well. So the slouch version of this has got the rib, because not everybody wants their socks to go up quite so high. Not everybody's comfortable with the idea of calf shaping, but they still want their socks to be a little bit longer so they can pull them up. So the slouch version is just made with rib, and it stops before the shaping. But then if you want to, you can push them. They were very trendy in the 1980s, weren't they? For doing your aerobics slouch socks and then pull them up and
like leg
push
warmers,
them.
Weren't they?
That's right. Well, some people just like to wear that kind of thing when they're sitting around the house. They're just a little bit warmer, just a bit bigger, a bit thicker, and so that's that version. But it's the same. It's the same lace panel that goes down the centre. So you can choose which of the 3 sizes that you would want to make. You need 2 balls of yarn for this one. And you can make them in any colour.
Yes, so for the longer knee-high socks, you would need 2, but for all of the others,
right.
one is fine.
For all the others, you just need 1. Yeah. Yes. So, is that them all? Have we talked about them all?
I think we have gone through all of them. Are we still? So, the book on its own, half of the stock has sold out. So it's only £8.50. I can't believe it's only £8.50, and it's a beautiful book, isn't it? Because it's spiral bound, which is always nice. And Christine has designed all the patterns in here. So if you've got any questions for her, Just ask. Aren't they lovely? So they're all named after the reindeers. There's Prancer. Now, obviously, she has used the Christmas yarns for them, but you don't have to. You can use any of the other yarns. They can mix and match. You don't have to use the candy cane for this one. If there's one that you like the most, but you want a different yarn. So that's Prancer. So if you want this book on its own, £8.50, but be quick because half of the stock is gone. But we have got it on the left-hand side. Special bundle if you want one ball each of all these Christmas yarns, which is Fairy Lights with the sparkle, Holly Berry, that's the red, green and cream one, Candy Cane, which is the lovely green and red and striped one, and then Bullfinch, which is from the Country Birds collection, but really Christmassy colours. That's why we've chosen that one. So £34.65. That's 10% off. Bargain. I know, and that's it. You get started now. Get it home. That's 4 pairs of Christmas socks. And who wouldn't want a pair of socks for Christmas? I would. Chris messaged in and said, lovely cable stitch demo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We'll get to do some more in a minute.
Well, I was going to say, while we're talking about knitting socks as gifts for other people, should we have a quick chat about sizing? Because that's
it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It's always something that worries people because
when you knit a pair of socks, you don't just knit a pair of socks, you knit a pair of socks to fit.
That's right.
That's the difference. It's not sizes 3 to 5, is it?
No, because the thing about hand knit sock is that it's all about the circumference. And I'll pick this one up, and then I'm not waving a baggy bit there. So a hand knit sock is all about fitting here around the circumference.
Is that
of
the widest
of the
bit
foot.
then?
Yes, that's right. And so if you're knitting socks as a gift for somebody, it's not always easy to know what that's going to be. So if you're able to ask them, then that's great. And what you can always do is you could say something like, oh, well, I'm knitting a very special pair of socks for you, so I need some proper measurements, and you can make a big fuss about it, and it's amazing how special that makes people feel. So never be worried about asking for measurements, and just, because you are a professional sock knitter now,
bespoke sock knitter
who makes bespoke socks for people. So it's absolutely okay to ask those questions. If you want them to be a surprise, then obviously you'll need shoe size, but this is the bit that you might struggle with. So I would say either take a guess, but try and guess a little bit bigger, because it's always better to have socks that maybe are a little bit big, because you can maybe
So if someone's
reduce
got
them
wide feet, that's going to be the wide bit.
Yeah, I'd take a view maybe compared to your feet, or if it's your dad, then maybe think about how wide they are compared to, I don't know, your brother's feet or your husband's feet or your granddad's feet or
someone else that you can measure.
Yeah,
feet.
or it might even be that you can ask your dad to try your socks on and see, because there are only 4 stitches between each of the sizes, so it's really not much. So if you're not sure whether to go for 60 or 64 stitches to cast on, I'd always go for the slightly bigger one, because those 4 stitches won't make a massive difference. But if you decide to cast on 60 stitches and the person needs a 72 stitch sock, it might not quite fit as well as you want it to.
And then obviously, do you need to measure length as well?
I tend to knit my socks at about 6 inches. These are a 6-inch leg length.
Okay, but what about foot length?
Well, if you know the shoe size, then you can work it out.
Then that's okay.
And actually, there are lots of shoe shop websites. If you put in length of foot, or shoe size length, or that kind of question, then you'll get a chart that comes up, and it will tell you. So for a size 5 foot, for example, I think it's something like 23.5 centimetres in length. So I know that if I'm knitting for me, then from the heel,
so you know what that size is.
So I'll stop at about 18.5, and then you'll know that you can just carry on for a little bit more to make them the right size. And again, if it's a gift, I'd make them just another couple of rounds longer, because even if you've made them slightly narrower, if they're a little bit longer, it gives you, it kind of evens it out a little bit. But you're probably not going to be far off. A foot, the difference between a foot that's 8.5 inches and 9 inches is only 4 stitches in terms of the actual making the sock. So it really isn't going to be an awful lot different. So don't panic, and don't feel that you can't make them if you don't know the person's size. You can take a broad view about what you think.
And what about tension?
Well, for knitting socks, then you are looking, the tension over 4 inches is 30 stitches. So that means that you're looking for, to be spot on, is 7.5 stitches per inch. But if you're getting between 7 to 8 stitches, so somewhere between that, on the size needles that you knit with, then that's right, and that's the gauge that those socks in that pattern will knit up to. So although I suggest that you use 2.5mm needles, then you don't always need to do that. You use whatever needles will give you that gauge. So you might find that 2.25 or 2.75 are the size that you want, and then that's what you go for. The main thing is the gauge on the needles that work for you.
Yes, that's true. Okay, well that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Christine. It's been fab. Really, nice.
Can I say one more thing?
You can.
Yes. Don't panic if you don't finish, because people will be happy with an IOU. There's massive pressure to finish Christmas knitting gifts, and don't do it. Don't be waiting to do it till the last minute. You don't want to be racing Father Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Don't.
It's not fun. It's really
not fun. But that's why you start now. You see.
It is
so
why
if you
start
get
now.
the book and all that's it. You're ahead.
Yes. However, some people are slow knitters, and sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes we get a bit carried away with how many pairs of socks we think we can knit at Christmas, and you've knitted most of them and you've still got some to go. But it's absolutely fine to give somebody a ball of yarn and an IOU, and I've got a fun one on my blog to download. You can write your own. People don't mind. My dad's had one sock and a ball of yarn one year, and he thought it was brilliant. He wanted to wear the one sock all day till I had to wrestle it off him. It's absolutely fine. Don't put yourself under pressure.
Right, that's a good tip.
Start now, but it's meant to be fun, isn't it? So knitting is meant to be fun, and we're meant to enjoy it, and we're meant to be able to knit the love into our gifts. So start now, but don't feel pressured to finish.
Yes. We've got a message from Sue. Hello both. My feet tend to swell a lot, and I always like to make and wear homemade socks. Thank you for the demo.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So do you think that helps then if your feet swell, that they're better with homemade socks? I guess?
The thing about homemade socks is that you can make them to a size that you know that would fit. So it might be that instead of having to shop bought sizes are the size that they are, aren't they? And you buy them for the length, because you're buying for the shoe size, whereas your homemade socks are made for the width. So if you know that your feet are more likely to swell in the heat or in certain circumstances, then you might choose to make them just a little bit wider.
Or if you've got wider feet, or
absolutely.
If you're pregnant,
absolutely.
Pregnancy socks.
Yes, and the other thing is that because you work out the number of stitches to cast on with negative ease, then there's always stretch in the sock, so you'll always be able to accommodate a little bit of movement in your foot size.
I think it's fantastic. It's just I think the lovely idea is that you are knitting a pair of bespoke socks. It's like tailoring or making underwear or something, isn't it?
There's no joke about these socks. People make I get really cross about Christmas sock jokes, but there's no joke about these. These are proper special gifts.
And they're like £7.50.
I know.
Pure wool
but
socks.
Actually, they're priceless, aren't they?
Well, they are. I just think for pure wool socks,
it's amazing. You wouldn't get that
like sheep.
They smell like sheep.
Beautiful.
And they'll fit. The first time my brother ever put on a pair of socks that I'd made for him, he said, it could have been made for me. Well, fancy that.
Funny that, yeah. And it's lovely because, with the book, you can just choose where you want to start with it.
Yes, you can.
And then move up.
There's something for everybody.
Until you go to the full knee-high calf
fitting.
Go for
it, the knee-high calf fitting, which is really not as hard as you think.
So do your family all get socks at Christmas?
They don't, no.
No.
They used to, but now I'm too busy knitting socks for my shoulder spinners.
Yeah, but that was when it was a hobby. But now you're a professional sock pattern knitter, TV star. TV star, professional sock pattern knitter.
No, my girls prefer to walk around in bare feet. I knit socks for my husband. My dad's not around anymore, and that was it really. So we have got drawers full of I knit them for me. I keep make sure my husband's got enough socks. He calls them his proper socks.
I'm with you. Yeah, proper socks.
Proper socks. Yeah, that's what he wears. If he's going out somewhere, if he's going somewhere sweaty, he wears bought sports socks if he needs to. But these are his proper socks. And I make sure that he's got plenty of those.
Of proper socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope we've convinced everyone this is the way to go. Proper socks.
Proper socks.
So I'm just going to run through everything again. What do you want me to start with, Kat? So we'll start with the bundles. So the pattern book, which is only £8.50. Christmas socks, collection 1. Does that mean there's going to be a collection 2?
Oh, I don't know. Well, that would be nice.
I was like when it says collection 1.
Well,
that infers.
Oh, well, do you know what? I hadn't even thought about
Really?
that. No,
I think collection 1 infers there will be a collection 2.
I will hope so, and I will hope that I'm involved with those.
Yes,
so.
collection 2, not by Winwick Mum. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? No, there should be.
No, it would not be funny.
So this is the special offer of collection 1, where there are patterns for 7 pairs of socks to suit all lengths and all abilities. And you start with one and move on to the other. And you will get 1 ball each of the 4 Christmas yarns: Fairy Lights, Holly Berry, Candy Cane and Bullfinch. And you only need 1 for a pair of socks. £34.65. That is a saving of 10%, which is a part of a sock. If you want the book on its own, it's £8.50 just for the book. It's been so popular all day. I mean, it's spiral bound. There are 7 pairs of socks, beautifully photographed, which is very important when you're knitting socks, so that you can really look at them. And then you can have a quick flick through, decide which one you want to start with. But all of the abbreviations are explained in there, how you do the measuring. It's brilliant. So if you want to buy the balls of wool individually, we have Fairy Lights, which has that little sparkle in it. I don't know what it is, like a bit of nylon, but it gives it that lovely sparkle.
It's a particular stuff.
It's not.
It's got
like scratchy, is it?
No, oh no! I asked them in the beginning because Silent Night was the first one, and I was really worried it would be scratchy. It's not. It's absolutely not at all.
No, it's just sparkly.
And if you knit it under lights, it's just proper festive. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely.
So knit under lights.
Yeah. Oh, it's very Christmassy.
So how lovely! There's your real Christmas socks. So that's Fairy Lights. Then we have Candy Cane. That's your real sort of traditional green, red and cream stripes. Remember, 1 ball is enough to make 1 pair of socks. Question from Susan: can I knit a long pair of socks out of 1 ball? How long?
I would say that you would be pushing it. If you have
knee highs.
Yeah, knee highs. I would probably have 2 just to be on the safe side. If you've got something else that you could do the heels and the toes in, then you should possibly do it. It depends on the size of the leg. You know, if it's a very tall person, then
yes.
then you'll need to make them you'll need to make them longer so that they come up to the person's knee. So. You might do if you're not a tall person, but I would hate you to run out of yarn.
Whereas you will normal socks, you can, but
I really think you'd be pushing it. It's safer to have 2, even if you only use it just for a little bit. But then you've got the rest of the yarn to make a smaller pair of socks for you or for somebody else.
And it's still only £7.50 for a ball anyway.
Yeah.
So Candy Cane. Then the final one is Holly Berry. Final, that's not the final one. Holly Berry has been the most popular. Oh, wow. I guess it's the most Christmassy. Maybe?
It is very Christmassy.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It's very traditional.
Very traditional. There's lovely reds and Christmas greens. I think Candy Cane's my favourite actually. And then finally we've got Bullfinch, which is lovely shades of grey, charcoal, cream, sort of ivory, and red. Very Christmassy. We've had a question from Linda who says, what is a rough average time to make socks? A couple of hours every evening.
Yes.
So if you did 2 hours how many hours does it take to knit a pair of socks?
Do you know what? I've never timed it. I normally say it takes me about 2 weeks to knit a pair of socks, but then that's doing a few hours in the evening, a couple of rounds here and there. I'll do it in the car if I'm going somewhere. Sometimes I can rock it through the sock down to a heel, then it takes me a bit longer. So I give myself 2 weeks to knit a plain pair of socks, and then I know that I'm not rushing. Other people can knit them in a day. Other people take weeks and weeks. So I'm afraid it's how long is a piece of yarn. But
so if you did a couple of hours every evening, 2 weeks would be more than.
I would say if you're a confident, competent knitter, then 2 hours every evening. I'd say you'd easily do a pair in 2 weeks, and you might find that you could do them a little bit faster.
Right. Well, I'm going to do it, and I'll let you know.
Good. Do it.
Cat's sticking to the pre-mades. No, Cat will persuade you to knit your own socks. Have both.
Yeah,
buy a pair, wear them, and knit another pair.
And then compare them.
And then decide. Thanks, Christine. It's been lovely having you here with us. Such a pleasure, and lovely to see all your Christmas socks. And I hope we have persuaded everyone.
Blooming hope so. Best Christmas presents going.
Exactly. Proper socks, to knit some proper socks. So we will see you back here in a couple of minutes when we have got Sam from Adventures in Crafting, who is bringing a beautiful crochet Christmas jumpers, because who doesn't want a crochet Christmas jumper? So we're having a quick look just before we go, so you can see the crochet Christmas jumpers. 3 different colours, and one has sparkly yarn. Have a look on the website, please. Please buy ahead, because you know what it's like with Sam's Designs, they'll always go. But these are your Christmas jumpers, but you can wear them anytime really. Well, they're snowflake jumpers, but they're kind of wintry too. So we will see you back here in a few months' time, and thank you for joining us so far.
In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 p.m. every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on. So you never have to spend a minute without us.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again. Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites, sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433, and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com. Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
And welcome back to Yarn Lane's Christmas show. And look at my brand new Christmas jumper. I'd like to say mine in the thought that I might get to keep it, but I don't think I can because it's actually one of Sam's friends crocheted it. Isn't it gorgeous? It features the most beautiful snowflakes. I love it. Look at that. And we have it in 3 colourways. I'm going to give you a whole twirl so you can see all the way around. Absolutely love it because everyone needs a Christmas jumper, don't they? You get to Christmas time and then you think, oh, shall I bring out last year's? No, I'll get a new one. And then you buy a really cheap one and it's rubbish. But if you make your own, and last year actually I did buy myself one, but it was more like sort of a wintry style because then you can wear it in January as well because you feel a bit silly in a Christmas jumper after Christmas, but it's just gorgeous, isn't it? Anyway, we have it in 3 colourways. Oh, look, there you can see it really close up. So this is the red, obviously the one that I've got on, which is called Icicle. So in the kit is the red wool. It's not red actually, is it? It's deep red, dark red. Does it have a name? Wine, yes. So it's not like purpley, like burgundy wine.
No.
Yes.
It's just a really deep, intense
red, isn't it?
Yeah,
like a Christmas red.
Yeah.
But it's not wine, because wine I would think could be like slightly burgundy.
Yeah, not like, yeah.
But it is a lovely, well, you can see it's not a scarlet, it's a lovely deep red. Anyway, so we've got red and we have, well, it's called natural, so I'd go ivory. That's what colour it is. It's not cream, it's not white, is it?
No, it's sort of somewhere in between, isn't it?
Which works beautifully for the snowflakes, because I think otherwise it'd be a bit stark against this red.
It's a bit warmer, isn't it, with that creamy
Lovely choice. You also get a pattern which is quite useful, and it all comes in a beautiful bag which you can use as your project bag, or if you're going to make this for somebody, what a nice gift bag. Although who would make this for someone else, I don't know. I would keep it. So in the pattern there is everything you need to do. Now you can make this in size, what are the sizes? Sizes extra small. Wow. Yeah, but that's quite small, isn't it? Size 4.
Yeah, so I've gone, really
so
teenage.
That's like
I've got a 13-year-old daughter, so I always sort of try to think of her as the smallest size for an adult.
Yeah, so but all up to a size 26. So what's chest is size 4 then?
I think it's something like a 26
Oh,
inch.
is it? Oh, right. So, I mean, that really is young teenager then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
all the way up to size 54 inch. So that's brilliant. So that goes along. So anyway, you've got enough yarn in the kit to make any of those sizes, which is fab, isn't it? Quarter of the stock of the Gone is red. You can't have this one because it's mine. It's really nice. I thought I liked the blue best, but no, this is my favourite. I love this.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be yet another Sam kit. I'm still on the granny square. I've done quite a lot of my squares.
That's good.
Finished them, but you know, this is going to be another one. Anyway, so this one is Icicle. That's the red. I'm going to keep the balls there. Quarter of the stock's gone now. Should we do the blue one? So this is the one that Sam is wearing. And a quarter of the stock of this one's already gone. So this one has got white, because it does actually work a lot better, doesn't it? Did you have to sort of lay them all out next to each other?
Yeah, a lot of talking and thinking and yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because I think that white wouldn't look as good. Oh, no.
No, you're right.
Well
it's a bit too stark with that wine, isn't
so
it?
You get loads of blue.
It's lovely.
And you get loads of white, and you have enough, obviously, and then you get the pattern. But, oh, sorry, is my microphone not working? Yeah, I'll put it on the jumper. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Is that better? Sorry, it was on my dress. So again, you've got the yarn, which is fab for the biggest size, all the way up to, which I just said. I'm going to say again. Oh, so online, did I put 26? 24? Oh, well, it's not 6 to 24. It's 4 to 26.
That's probably me sending you the wrong information, sorry.
Well, that's even better. So look, it goes up, basically it goes up to a 54-inch bust. That's what you need to know, isn't it? So you can go up from like a 28 to a 54-inch chest size, which is fantastic. And everything that you need is in here. We will talk about crochet hooks in a moment when we finish the final kit. We've just got 3 colourways. And then the grey, and the grey is behind Sam. Now this one is a bit special, so if you're wondering why the grey is a little bit more expensive, there's a special reason why. It has all the grey yarn, which is this actually a lovely soft silver colour, but the Snowflake yarn is sparkly. Now I don't know whether you can see that. It's called Diamond White. Oh, God, I used to drink Diamond White.
Yes.
Terrible stuff. So I'm thinking, oh, that's terrible stuff.
Back some student memories.
Yeah, it does it. Diamond White. Oh dear. Anyway, this is nothing like that. It's sparkly, so it's got that really lovely. So that's why this one is a little bit more expensive, because it features this beautiful sparkly one. So if you want a little bit of glitz and glamour with your crochet Christmas jumper, this is the one for you. Again, it's got all the yarn. I could get it all out. All the grey and all the sparkly yarn you need to make up to the biggest size. So that's all. Those are all the kits. Now I'm going to talk about blocking. When we talk about blocking, we have got the blocking board and the blocking mats, but we'll go through that later. First of all, can we talk about crochet hooks?
Yes.
So we know what size, because we've got a few here. So how do we decide what size?
So it will depend what size you're making.
Right.
So if you're making any size up to the medium, you need the 4.
Okay, got the 4.
And for the bigger sizes, you'll need a 4.5.
Okay.
So that's one of the ways I've altered the size of the jumper.
And what about the 5?
The 5 is if you are going for the glittery one. So if you want the silver and the diamond white, then that one, I've used a 5 for the largest 2 sizes, so the large and the extra large, for the centre snowflake. So
is that because of the glitter in it?
Yeah, because although it's double knit and it's the same brand, it's a King Cole, it does come out a little bit smaller. So to even up the size, I've gone for a size bigger for the snowflake and smaller for the outside.
So all the crochet hooks are on the website. Well, they're all $4.99, and so as we go through, if you've got any questions about which one you need, but basically it's 4 for the smaller sizes, and then 4.5 for the big, unless you're buying the sparkly one, and then you need 5.
Exactly.
For the biggest. But if you want to know, look, just message us and we'll answer it.
Yeah.
And stitch markers as well, because you will need those.
Yes. Yeah, they're always really helpful.
Okay. And we'll talk about blocking later.
Okay,
right.
Brilliant.
So where do we start?
So you start by making first of all, you start by deciding what size you want to make. So I always like to talk about that at the beginning.
Yes.
Because as usual,
this is my own personal tutorial.
As usual with my patterns, they're really adjustable. So before you start, I've put at the beginning of the pattern, choose the size you'd like to make. So I've designed this to be quite a loose jumper, quite baggy and oversized. That's how I like the fit of it. But you can, I've said for ease, allow 20 to 30 centimetres. So it's really, you can see on me, it's really a nice loose fit. So if you decide you'd actually like it a bit more fitting, make a size a little bit smaller than you think you'll need.
Right, okay.
So you've got the size chart there, you've got the size of the person that you're making it for, and the actual size that the jumper comes out at.
Oh, okay.
So that will help you to decide what size to make.
So I guess you could measure something you've already got.
I would, measure something you like the fit of. That's a really good way of doing it. So, and then use that as a guide as to which size you make. So I've done it in 3 size blocks which cater for, so for example, extra small/small is the first size I've done it for, which is size 4 to 10, medium 12 to 16, and large, extra large, 18 to 26. So if within that you then think, well, I want to make the larger size, the 26 for example, that's when you might want to go up a hook size to a 5mm.
Right.
So don't be afraid to play about with it a little bit. You've got loads of yarn, so
Fab.
if you're making one of the smaller sizes, and my friend Terry Ann made this grey one.
Yeah.
And she commented she had enough yarn left to make a scarf or something to
Oh,
match.
wow.
So because I've put enough yarn in for the larger sizes, you have got plenty of yarn,
quite nice, isn't it?
and you'll have a bit left over.
Nice, nice.
Okay, so that's the first thing. And for the gauge, what I've said is make your first snowflake hexagon and then measure it. So I've put in a measurement for a medium, a small and a large. So you can decide, again, that's when you've made your first one, measure it. To make
I'm really lucky because I have exactly the same tension as you. I know it's just like a miracle.
It's always nice when it works out like that.
Absolute miracle. When I did one, I went, oh my, it's 11.5 centimetres. I cannot believe it. But
and a lot of the time that is the case, but if you make yours and it comes out a bit smaller, either go up a hook size or make a different size jumper.
Yeah,
so, so that's the first thing. And also, just so you know, you've got a description of all the stitches in there. So all the different stitches I'm going to do. You've got a description.
We've got some new stitches
So we've got some new stitches today. So once you've decided what size, as you go through the pattern, it's got a description of the small, the medium and the large and how you adjust it. So firstly, hook size. Secondly, it will be how you make the final round, whether you use half trebles or trebles. So I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. So the first thing to do is to make your snowflake. So as I said, with my, I'm going to demonstrate in the glittery yarn.
Nice.
Because it is really lovely, and I'm hoping, I know it's probably hard to see it in the photographs. I don't know how well it's showing up on the screen, but I'm hoping you'll be able to.
Can you see the sparkle in this, Elliot? Well, no, because Sam's got sparkly yarn.
Yeah, so hopefully, with the close-ups, you might be able to see it. But basically, it's an normal acrylic yarn in the white with a whole strand of glittery sparkle running through it.
Oh, we're getting really close. Can we? Oh,
you might be able to see it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, it's like a microscope.
So I'm hoping that by working with it, you'll be able to see that. Okay.
Thank you.
And so it's King Cole double knit, both of them are, but the Glitz one, it comes up slightly smaller, partly probably because of the sparkle running through it. So I'm going to say to you to start with a hook size, a half a size bigger, and that's all in the pattern.
Right.
So I'm using a 4.5mm hook for the snowflake for this one. Okay, so you're going to start, this is really similar to when I've made other hexagons. So I would say in terms of difficulty, this is a little bit like the butterfly top that I was on doing, with some slightly different stitches in it. So it's a step up from a granny square.
So if you've done a granny square, this is the next.
Exactly.
The next stage.
So I've had a few people messaging me saying, is it suitable for beginners? And if you can do some stitches, you've maybe had a go at a granny square, or had a go at treble stitches.
Right, yeah,
it'll be fine. You might want to refer back to the YouTube videos of me demonstrating.
Yes.
But it's actually much easier than it looks. Okay. So you start with your chain 4, and then you slip stitch in the first chain, so the one that's right back next to the knot. Put your hook under there, pull your yarn through there and the loop on your hook. So you've made your little circle. So if you're not sure where the centre of the circle is, this is where stitch markers can help, because you can mark it with a stitch marker. But for me, it's that bit there. And then you're going to chain 3, and that's your first pretend treble, and then put a treble in the ring. So the first round, all of your stitches are going in that same circle. So sometimes, especially if you are quite new to it, it can be a bit confusing as to where you're putting the stitches. So that's where it is really, stitch markers are just wonderful for helping with that. So you could just pop a stitch marker in there. And then you chain 2, and then you're going to make 2 more trebles. This is actually exactly how I started the butterfly hexagons. So if you've done that one, or watched the demonstration, this will be familiar. So I'm going to do sets of 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles. So I've got, you can see you've got your sides building up there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of my 2 there.
Yeah, so it's very granny square, isn't it? Just
it is.
More stitches in it,
yeah,
really.
Exactly. It's really fun to make. And it's perfect for this time of year because you just make lots of squares. So
yeah, it's not too sort of hot and heavy.
Exactly. Not squares, hexagons.
Well,
obviously,
hexagons even.
yeah.
Snowflakes.
Yeah. So I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges of my hexagon, chain 2, slip stitch in the 3rd of that first pretend treble, the 3rd of that 3 chain there. Okay, so that's the centre of your snowflake made.
Which looks like a hexagon already.
It does, doesn't it? I love it. It's just such a lot of fun to do, and that is no harder than a granny square.
So is that because you've got more? So if it was a granny square, you'd have 4. So
exactly.
Because you've got the extra one.
Yeah. That's
well, 2.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
That's what turns it into the hexagon.
Yeah,
of course,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just such.
If you had 5, would you have a pentagon?
I guess so. You could. I haven't tried 8, but you could even try an octagon.
Yes, let's do the you must. Yes, it must work that way, mustn't it?
It must do. Yeah.
Let's be your next challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
The octagon jumper.
Okay, so once you've finished, that's your first round finished, very straightforward. And the lovely thing about this pattern is you're just using 2 colours, so there are not a million ends to weave in.
That is
so
really good news, actually.
Snowflake colour and your main colour, so you're just continuing on
that's
now.
quite nice, actually, isn't it?
It is really nice, especially if you kind of work around your ends as you go, so there's much less weaving in than there are for other granny square projects, which is nice. Okay, so for round 2, you've got this treble ahead of you. So you slip stitch into that underneath both strands of the V.
Yeah.
And you're just going to move across the work by slip stitching. And then you slip stitch in the next chain 2 space that's ahead of you. So all those 2 slip stitches do and move you around the work.
Okay.
So you're not adding any height or anything, you're not actually making an effect with the stitches, you're just moving from one place to another. Then for the second round, you do a chain of 3, first pretend treble, and another treble in that same space. And then chain 2 and put another 2 trebles in that same space. So it's like a corner, like again, very, very similar to a granny square. You've made a little corner. And again, because it's a hexagon, you're doing 6 corners. So then you jump straight into the next corner, and in that you do the same. 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles. So you can see you've got your edges and your corners building up there. So I'll just do a bit more to show you. In the next space, the same again, 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles. And this is one of those patterns that once you've done it once or twice, or even a few times, you can just sit and do it because you've got the hang of the pattern. So especially if you make all the snowflakes first and then add all the edging
I always
later.
sort of do like the whole of something and then I go back and do it in stages.
For this one, so often with a granny square, I do a granny square at a time, but for this one, it was really appealing to do all the snowflakes and then go back and add all the main colour. Because actually the main colour, when you come to add that, it works up really quick.
And it's amazing, isn't it? When it's joined together, it doesn't look like it's hexagons.
No, it doesn't, does it? Someone said to me, oh, I like the circles in that top. And I thought, it does almost look circular.
It does, actually. But it just looks sort of like part of the stitches. It doesn't look like you join things. OK, so we've now got
So you've now got second round added of your hexagon. So I've finished my last corner with my 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles. And then I'm going to slip stitch in the 3rd of the 3 chain. And that's round 2 finished. Hopefully you can see those sparkles.
Yeah, no, I can. No, the sparkles are coming out now.
Really
Definitely see
lovely.
them.
Okay, and now we've got a third round, and this is the final round for the snowflake.
Right.
And again, you're moving around the work, so you need to slip stitch in the first one, slip stitch in the next space, and this time's a little bit more complicated. Chain 3, so you'll pretend treble to start, 2 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles, so it's a bit bigger this time. So that's my first corner. And then to shape it a little bit different this time, you do a chain 2 and you're going to slip stitch, and what I've written in the pattern is between the groups of 2 trebles. So you can see, hopefully see quite clearly here, you've got 2 trebles there, 2 trebles there. So you're going to slip stitch into that gap there between the groups. And then you chain 2 again.
Ah, so this is where we're taking it out of the hexagon shape.
Exactly. This is going to give it a little bit
bits.
more of a star shape, or a snowflake, obviously, shape. So then you're in the next corner, in the next, I often call them corners, chain 2 space, chain 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles.
Message from Deborah. Loving the motif pattern, Sam, and going to buy a red one. Could I use the hexagon to make blankets and scarves as Christmas presents?
Absolutely, yeah, you definitely could, because also within this pattern you've got a pattern for a half hexagon, so you can shape the edges to make everything rectangular.
Okay. Right.
So they don't pop up much in this jumper, but you can see.
Yes, I've got
one
them
there,
at the bottom.
There's a
Yes,
couple on the
got
edges.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, it could be. You could use that hexagon motif to
So I'm
make
just
all
looking.
sorts.
Just looking at my half hexagons.
They're
yes,
like
there are
butterflies. I think the half ones are really pretty.
ones. Yes, so once you've made your jumper,
Once you've
you
got
can
the
use
pattern,
that and make snowflake
especially if
blankets.
you've got some left over, yeah, or you could use stash bust and make yourself a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think a snowflake scarf.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? Okay. So I'm just going to show you once more with round 3 that you are adding that little tweak. You've got your corner, but then you chain 2 and you slip stitch in the gap between the 2 groups of 2 trebles. So this is a bit you might want to look back at when you come to do it, just to be sure about where to go. So you've got a group of 2 there, a group of 2 there, and you're going to go in this gap here. Oops, and then chain 2, and then you're ready to do the next corner. So hopefully that gives you the idea of how you shape it.
Yeah, no, I can see it now. So it's like adding little extra bits on,
yeah, so here's a finished one.
Yes. Okay.
So I won't go around to even the ends in, but you can see the shape of it there with just 6
Yeah, it's sort of a bit flowery, isn't it? But but it's got pointy bits on it as well.
Exactly, yeah. So that's your snowflake.
Right.
So you make those. And as I say, in the pattern it tells you how many to make, and I did like to start with all the snowflakes. So I piled up all my snowflakes and then I added...
And then you added all the
edges, yeah.
I know, it's hard, isn't it? I sometimes do like all of that bit and then all of that bit, and then I think, well, now I want to do... It's quite nice that if you then want to change colour or do something else, you can think, well, I'll add some background into some. But when I do granny squares, sometimes I do all the centres, then all the next bit.
Yeah, or you can sort of split it into like thirds and maybe, or maybe do groups of 10 or something, yeah. Okay, so you then come to add your main colour. So if you're doing the glittery kit, so if you're doing the crystal kit, which is the grey with the glitz yarn, I've gone down a half a hook size to get the 2 sizes to match up, if you see what I mean. For the others, you stay with the same. But because the glitz is slightly thinner, I've gone down half a hook size.
It's funny with double knit like that, though, isn't it? That different brands do have a slightly different...
Yeah.
Even though they're all called double knit.
Yeah.
They are slightly different, aren't
you
they?
definitely get change. Unless you make that kind of alteration, you might find that, for example, it might pull in or pull out. Or
it's weird that though, isn't it? Because you think it's double knit, it's standard, but I don't think so.
Yeah, especially as this one's the same brand. But I mean, it's not a problem at all, 'cause it's marginal. It's just me being fussy. But
no, I think it's fair enough.
I guess with the ply, with the strands of yarn, they've swapped one in to be the glittery one rather than a acrylic one,
and it might be as well.
It's marginal. It's
the kind of the way
different.
it's well, it's not woven, is it? Spun, that it pulls it in or something.
And if you forget, and I must confess, I've got one on my blocking board here, and I did forget with this one, and it's all made in the same hook size, and you can't really tell. This will show you how fussy I'm being. Okay. You know, you can't tell looking at that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just me being really perfectionist, which I am known for being. So.
Oh, can you move it in there? Yeah. Perfect.
Oh yes, there we go, sorry. So you can see, you know, I've got this one blocking. It's really not made in. When I say that, I put it on in the green room earlier, so I haven't sprayed it or anything.
Okay.
But just to show you, you know, you can spray it, you can shape it.
So it doesn't really
matter.
You
really can't tell. I forgot to change hook sizes with this one, so it doesn't matter at all. But just to give you the idea.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, I said I'll do that, so I will go down to my 4. But for the navy blue and the red, you don't change hook sizes. You do it all in the same hook size. Okay, so for the next row, you've got 2 rounds now of adding your main colour. So you're going to join your main colour in any of the chain 2 spaces at the tips of the snowflake, so at the pointy bits.
Okay.
So adding this round really shapes it. You really start to see the snowflake shape.
A snowflake.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. So put your hook through any of the chain 2 space. Remember, it needs to be on the point because we've obviously got these chain 2s coming down here now. And just pull a loop of the new colour through and then chain 1 to secure it. And then you're going to make a double crochet in that same space. So for a double crochet, there's no yarn over. So remember, this is UK terms. Hook goes through the space, pulls the yarn back through, giving 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through the 2. And then you chain 2, and then you do a double crochet in the same space. So that's your corner worked. Now we're going to move on to some slightly more challenging stitches. So I'm going to go slow.
Yeah, but that's nice. Nice to have a bit of a challenge.
It is, and it's so fun because it really shapes them. So for this round, it's all written in the pattern. So don't worry if you think, oh gosh, I'll never remember that. It's all written in the pattern. You're now going to work in the gaps between the stitches. So normally you work into the V at the top, but this one, pull your posts apart. You're going to work further down in the gaps between the stitches.
Right, okay.
Okay, so that's a different way of working, and that's what's going to give your snowflake that jagged look.
See, I can never decide when I do it whether you should work into holes or into V's. Can never really make my mind up. What's the proper way of doing it?
The proper way, unless the pattern tells you to do something different, work into the V's. So, and it does, you'll actually, this is a really good example of how it changes the shape of it. I mean, you know, do it the way you like doing it.
No,
it doesn't matter,
and I think I actually alternate as well.
Really?
Because I can't quite decide.
Yeah, and I've got customers that like working in the gaps, and that's how they do it, and that's a choice, and that's absolutely fine. So as I said before, I'm really reluctant to use right and wrong. But
no, that's fair enough.
The way a pattern is presuming you're going to do it is into the V, unless they say otherwise.
Right.
So you've got the sort of 2 places you can work. I mean, this, for example, is going to show you straight away how it changes it. So if I was going into the stitches, I'd go into this very first V here, which sits to the right of the post. And you've got the little hole there, and on top of that, you've got your 2 strands, which are your V. Often we talk about with V's with stitches. And you've got a bar underneath. So you go into that hole there. So that's the way a pattern will presume you're doing it if you're just working normally into the stitches. If it wants you to work in the gap between the stitches, into the space it might say, or the gap between stitches, you're going to go between the posts, you're going lower down, and that means I won't be working in there and going into the next one. So effectively you would skip a stitch.
Okay, so it makes quite a difference,
it can potentially change the way your work looks. So yarn over, because it's going to be a half treble, and you're going to go in the gap between the first 2 stitches. So in the post between the post of this one and this one. You can see I've really pulled them apart. Don't be afraid to pull your work apart to find where that gap is. Put my hook in there, pull the yarn back through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over through all 3 because it's a half treble. So you can see it sits the stitch a little bit lower, and that's going to give us that nice sort of jagged edge for the snowflake. Pull the next 2
I see what you mean. Yes, so it makes the background overlap more.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
and then I'm going to do another half treble between the next 2 posts. So I'm really pulling, don't be afraid to pull at them. Put your hook through that gap, pull it back through, yarn over through all 3. So far, I've just shaped, let's just move that tail because that's it. I've just made my 2 half trebles between the posts there. And we're now going to move on to do some spike stitches. So spike stitches are made in the rows below. So I've called them long stitches in my pattern just to make it a bit simpler, but it's the effect of a spike stitch.
Right.
And that's what's going to give, let's just move this one over, can you see there? That real shape to the snowflake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so clear in the grey, but it's where the yarn comes right down. So they are called a spike stitch or a long stitch. I've called them a long treble and a long double treble.
Okay. But it does really give some shaping
really
to the snowflake.
effective.
I'm looking at my red ones. Yeah, it does. Works really well. Yeah, because I don't know how you'd get that sort of fine shaping otherwise.
Exactly. I think it might, you know, like you commented, it's sort of a floral shape. But
yeah,
then you
to
add
start
the
with,
background.
Yeah,
and
then you make it spiky.
spiky.
And it becomes a crystal.
Yeah, and you get that, exactly, crystal look to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Clever that.
So I'll demonstrate this bit, and this is the bit, if you haven't done a spike stitch before, you might want to watch this back afterwards. So the first thing you're going to do, is make a long treble crochet. So don't panic about the long bit. What that means is you're going to go in the row below. So this is the row we have been working on, which is round 3 of the snowflake. You're going to go all the way round down to round 2, which is this one here, and it says to put it again in the gap between these 2 trebles. So it's a treble this time, a long treble. So yarn over first, go all the way down to these 2 trebles here, and you're going to work over this chain 2.
Right.
So you've got yarn over your hook, go in that gap, so over the top of that chain 2, pull the yarn back through, and this is where the long bit comes in. Now pull that loop up so it's the height of the rest of the stitches that you've been making.
Okay.
So this loop here needs to be tall.
Do you always sort of put it down flat to get it?
If you're not sure, I always say this to people. As I'm sat whizzing about, I'll just do it without putting it down. But if it's the first time you've done it and you're not sure, putting your work down and looking at it laid flat makes such a difference to understanding where you're going with it.
Yeah.
We all tend to sit with it on our lap and in front of the telly, and you're like looking at it from a strange angle, but putting it down, having a look really does help.
Just if you like...
Just the first time if you're new to it and you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure what she means by that. So I've got my 3 loops on my hook. I've pulled up, so that last loop is quite long, and you can see that my hook is now, where I've pulled it up, at the same height as the rest of the grey stitches I've made. Yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So your finished treble sits with its V at the same level as the rest of your stitches, but this loopy part here, this spike part, goes all the way down to the row below. So that's where it's a long treble.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the next bit is a long double treble. And that goes in the pattern. This is all really, there's loads of photos. I mean, I'll just show you, here's loads of photographs, loads of information there to help you.
And you've done it in really clear colours in that as well.
Yeah, I've done it in the navy and the white there. Okay, so then you're going to do yarn over twice because it's a double treble. And then all the way down to round 1. So on round 1, you've got these 2 trebles here. So you've got the hole in the centre, and round 1 is the stitches that work around that hole. Yarn over twice. Go between those 2 stitches from round 1, grab the yarn and put it back through and up here, and again pull it up really tall. So you've got the grey yarn coming all the way up here, and then yarn over through 2, and it's a double treble, so then you go yarn over through 2, and then a third time yarn over through 2. Okay.
That's nice, isn't it? And it gives you that extra long spike because it really does make a difference.
Yeah, you can see it on your red one.
Yeah.
And then another long treble in round 2. So the same as I did previous to that. Yarn over. Here's my 2 trebles in the gap between them. Pull the yarn back through. Pull it up high. Yarn over through 2. Yarn over through 2. So that's your spiky part. And then you do 2 half trebles, again in the gap.
But the good thing is, you can practice those, and if you get it wrong, it's just so easy to undo.
Exactly.
I've been doing so much. I did a little bit of knitting at the weekend. I haven't done any for ages, and I thought, I've got to undo this. And it's really hard.
Yes,
isn't it?
so I don't know.
I had to undo a row of 26, and I had to pick them all up. Whereas if it'd been crochet, I'd have gone, oh, that doesn't look right. But well, it wasn't right. I thought, I'm not undoing it.
Yeah, I would really struggle with knitting.
So you could work all the way round and check them, but then you can undo it.
Exactly.
If it's slightly wrong.
Yeah, and if you can make a treble or a double treble, which you can, if you can make a treble, you can make a double treble.
Yeah.
Oops, I've done that wrong. You can't go wrong. You've just got to pull up you've just got to pull it up taller. It's just a treble made in a different place and a double treble made in a different place. So I'm working around now. I'll just demonstrate that again. I've come to the part in the pattern where I need a long treble. So again, I'm going down a row below in the gap between the trebles, and then yarn over first into the gap, pull the yarn back through, pull that loop up high.
Right. So you just pull it up to the same sort of level.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to end up with straight edges on this row.
Yes. So you're going back to a hexagon again.
Yeah. Back to a hexagon.
So having taken it out of a hexagon.
Yeah, it'll go back.
Go back again now.
Exactly. And so that's why you need to pull those loops up really tall. And so you go all the way round. So, spike stitches are actually really fun to make once you've got the hang of them. You just whiz around shaping it. Oops, onto the corner. So in the corners you're doing 1 double, chain 2, 1 double. And then you're working down the sides doing a half treble in the gap, half treble in the next gap, long treble, long double treble. So remember with your double trebles, yarn over twice.
I've got getting this now.
Yeah.
I'm going on a winner when I start mine.
Long
I'm going to have to at some point stop the cardigan in the order to make the Christmas jumper in time.
I know, that's what I see. At least you've got plenty of time.
Yes.
Plenty of time to do both.
Oh, have we got our message from June? She's taken the plunge. I got the red one. Oh, good choice. Oh, is it her imagination or are the bottoms on the jumpers different?
It's not her imagination. Well spotted. Well, yeah. They are different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so they are.
Yeah. So I'll talk about the half hexagon in a minute, but so you can see on the 3 on the picture there, the blue and the red one, the bottom's the same. You haven't got you can't quite see the bottom in the red picture, but and the grey one, Terry Ann really kindly made that sample for me, and she's added extra half hexagons. So I'll explain that a little bit.
Okay, all right. So
yeah,
yes, they are
I need
different,
to show you
I
need to show you the jumper. You can choose.
So
how
even
you
if
want
you're
the
making the red one, you can have the grey bottom.
Absolutely.
So it's not that, but you just have to choose.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
well done for taking the plunge, June. I'm going to. It's great, isn't it? Isn't it a lovely jumper? Love it. I think it's just my colours.
It looks really lovely on you. It's great. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Feel all cosy.
Okay, so hopefully that gives you the idea of how you shape that round. So here's the other one I made earlier. And this is the one where I've forgotten to go down a hook size. So you can kind of see that subtle difference there. So I've got, I mean, it's really, really subtle, but it's all in the instructions, so you won't make that mistake. And if you do, it doesn't matter at all.
You can stretch them back.
Exactly. So you then have a final round. And for the final round, you're going to just add another round of your main colour. And this is again back to granny square territory. So you'll have gone all the way around, shaping it with your spike stitches. And then you do a chain 3 in the air. And then straight into the chain 2 space, which is, you might have to pull it to find it because, in fact, that's me going the wrong place. You might have to pull it to find it because you've got your little stitches there with the double crochet. So again, if you're not sure, as you work around on that row below, put a stitch marker in the chain 2 spaces. So if you're new to it, just while you get used to the pattern, you can put a stitch marker in the chain 2 space. Okay, so sorry, first of all, you've done your chain 3 in the air, and then you go into the space and you do a treble, a chain 2 and another treble. And then this is a really nice round because all you're going to do is put one treble into every stitch along to the space.
Lovely.
So it shapes it really nicely.
So it just sort of gives it a little ball, well, makes it bigger.
Exactly. And so I think by doing that, it sets the snowflake off nicely. And for this round, you're working into the stitch, the V part, so you're not going in the gaps. So the only round you go in the gaps is the one before. So that's round 4. So for round 5, you're back going into the V of the stitch. So going underneath the 2 strands, but above that bar.
Yeah, see, that's where I honestly, I can never decide what I'm supposed to do, but now I know.
Yeah, now you know.
Now I know.
It's quite empowering, isn't it, when you make those discoveries?
When you make that decision, I know.
No.
It's easier to go into the hole.
Yes.
Because you don't have to be quite as accurate. But no, I honestly do change.
And I teach crochet one-to-one in groups and things, and there's often a moment where someone says, look, I've been crocheting for years and I'm embarrassed to ask, but this one thing has been bothering me. For example, it's often the slip stitch. Right. And when I explain it and go through it again, it's just like, okay. Now I feel so much better about my crochet because I've cleared that up, because you can do it.
And you just think, well, I think that's
without.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you think, oh really?
Yeah. Yeah, and I really understand that.
Well, I couldn't do a magic loop for years, and I just never did, just avoided them.
Yeah,
and I thought, I'm actually going to teach myself how to do this.
Plenty of people do that too. And there are ways around it all the time.
And I finally decided I'm going to do it.
And have you mastered it
now?
now?
I have, I can do it now.
That's good.
But I had to keep watching the same YouTube video over and over for a long time until I had. But just because I just couldn't face doing it. But
yeah.
But that's great. From now on, I will be going into these.
There you go, yeah. So there you go. You can see how you then add that edge. It really neatens it up.
It sort of
sets off the
snowflake.
snowflake. Exactly, yeah. So then you can block it.
Yeah, so blocking. Now, we have 2 sorts. We have the blocking board that you've got there.
Yeah.
Which is the wooden one. So if we can put the $27.99. I do have it under the pile of things here. But Sam's got it with her crochet on there. Now, blocking is one of those sort of things that, a bit like pre-washing fabric, that we don't really want to do, but we really ought to do.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah, definitely when you're working with motifs and things like this as well. Yeah, definitely.
You don't really want to do it because you actually just want to crack on and sew it together, but you know it's going to look better if you do.
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
So with the blocking board, it comes with all the little wooden pins, and then, some people just spray them. Some people, I completely wet mine, don't know why. You just spray yours, don't you?
I just spray mine. I use the hot steam setting on the iron held just above it and steam it.
And then you pin it out to the size and shape it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. But anything, wet it in some way, whatever you prefer. And some people I know rinse it through with softener, so you also get that
I
nice
do that.
smell
Makes it smell nice.
well, yeah.
And then roll it in a towel to get all the water out.
Yes, yeah, and you can pile them up, so just leave a few millimetres between them.
Yes, that was something I discovered. You can.
Yeah. So it looks like people have said to me, "Gosh, if you're only doing 1 or 2 at a time, you'll be there forever." But you can pile them up, so you get sort of 10, 12 on one sort of set.
I know in the winter I then just put it on a chair facing the radiator.
Yes.
So I didn't want to put it on it.
No.
But they actually they did dry quite well.
Yeah, it's really effective. It's amazing. And one thing I've learnt, if you lose your wooden pegs, your crochet hooks fit in instead.
No way. I actually thought I need more than this wooden pegs, but crochet hooks fit.
Yeah, exactly. So I have been known to use my crochet hooks instead, just pop them in.
Oh, okay. But it really is, it does make a difference, doesn't it?
It really makes it, gives it that nice finish. It's not essential, but it really helps. It does make a big difference.
And then the other thing we have are the blocking mats, and I love these because they're bigger. They make a really big, they're called lace blocking mats, but they are just like jigsaw. They're just fab. I love them because if you want to block something bigger as well, or if you want to block loads of squares, there's 9 in here, but they fit together like a jigsaw. So they look like those play mats you get in the doctor's surgery. Why do they always have these in doctor's surgeries? It's really weird. Or even other play places. They seem to have them, don't they? So they're like those play mats because they fit together like jigsaws. I can't put them on my desk because it's not big enough. And you just fit together as many as you need, and then you pin your crochet to this. And we also have blocking pins. rainbow knit blockers, and they are pins that will stick through here into, so if you're doing something like a bigger garment, yeah, you need them together really. I mean, you could put normal pins in here if you wanted to, but these are much better for putting into there. There's the image. $15.99 for them, but if you're doing a whole jumper or something like a shawl or something bigger, then you can push all of these together and it makes like a metre square. But these are, I will open them just so you can see, because without, oh, it's a pair of scissors. Oh God. Why is it when you want a pair of scissors, they have a pair of pinking shears? I just wanted to break that, but let me show you. So, rainbows, that's nice. Always nice to have rainbows. And look, they're like a comb, but they stick into here. So the good thing is if you were blocking crochet squares, you could put just 2 along a side of them. But they are really good for bigger things too. So if you're going to do a lot of knitting and crochet, it's worth investing in either the blocking mats or the blocking board. And I know it's something you don't want to do, but it really does make a difference. Oh, and the red one. The red ones are smaller. Oh, I didn't realise that. The red ones are little. Brilliant. And then they get bigger as they go up. Oh, okay. But the two together, I mean, and it is a bit like the whole pre-washing of fabric. It does, but with blocking, when you then come to sew squares together, it really does make quite a difference. I've got to try and get these back in. Anyway, that's blocking top tips. So either just spray it or immerse it in water, particularly if it's really out of shape. Roll it in a towel, roll the towel up, and then they're just damp rather than soaking, and then pin them to shape, and you can really stretch them. So I've changed the size of things before. If I've made a jumper and it's not quite long enough.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. You can easily do that.
And you think, should I do that or not?
Well, it's better to be able to wear it.
Yeah, but I have sort of made it a lot bigger than it probably would have done.
You can really easily adjust it.
Right, so that's blocking. Right, next.
Okay. So once you've made all your hexagons, the only other thing you need are some half hexagons. And this is where, is it June that noticed the difference in the jumpers at the bottom?
Yes.
So you need them at the top here because it's got a scoop neck on it. And so you put some half hexagons on the front and back.
Oh, yeah.
So there's adjustments, as usual with my patterns, there's adjustments you can make. So the neck can be higher. I wanted mine to be a scoop neck. So I've done mine
higher.
Yours is higher. Yeah, so
so
Claire made yours and she's taken it up a bit higher. And also the grey one's a bit higher as well.
So how has she done that?
So it's just more rounds of the of the edging.
So you can keep trying it on then?
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Keep trying it on. I think with anything you make that's crochet, keep trying it on.
I like
Make sure
that
you're
idea.
happy with the fit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can alter the neck and the cuffs and the edging at the bottom. So the cuffs, I've not used half hexagons on the cuff, so you have got a little bit of shaping to the cuff.
Oh, okay, no, that's quite nice.
But you can fill it in. So when you have your pattern, you've got a layout grid. So you've got the way it's laid out. So you can see along this is going to be your bottom. So you make it all up into one piece and then you fold it up on the fold lines and double crochet it together or sew it together if you prefer. So you can add half hexagons wherever you like in the pattern if you want to sort of finish it off better.
Right.
Or not better, differently. Not better.
Yes.
The way I've done it is lovely, but if you want to change it, that's really easy to do.
Yeah, because this is nice. It's shapes along the bottom. I like that.
The blue and the red one are shapes along the bottom. Can I find where? Because I've got my microphone on. But so it's,
yes, no, I can see my shaping.
Yeah, so it kind of comes up like a tunic top.
Yes.
So if I put it there, you can see.
But that's quite nice, isn't it? It does give a bit of shape.
So I like that because it sort of comes up over your hip a little bit and gives it a sort of tunic top. So I've got mine on with a long dress today and I think that looks really nice with it. But if you want to, you can put, instead of leaving that shape like that, you can add half hexagons there and the whole thing will be finished off with a straight edge along the bottom, which is what Terry Ann did with the
you can
crystal,
see actually.
with the grey one.
Oh, and then she put a double colour around
Yes,
it.
so she's used some of the glittery white as well. So that's nice.
Okay.
You can do that.
So that's up to you really then, isn't it?
Exactly. So
whichever kit you've bought, doesn't matter. You don't have to do it one way or the other.
No, it really doesn't matter yet. So the grey, if you buy the grey kit, which is called Crystal, you can make it plain like the blue or the red, or you can add the colours for any of them. So for the half hexagon, I just wanted to demonstrate the part that's the trickiest. So I've done half a snowflake, but I just wanted to demonstrate the bit that people might find harder when they come back to it. So what you do is you've done your half your snowflake. So if you can make a whole snowflake, you follow instructions, make your half, that's fine. But it's this bit that might be potentially a bit harder. When you come to add round 4, again, it's those spike stitches. So join your main colour where you fastened off, chain 1, and you're going to turn it. And you do your 2 half trebles again between the posts, so between the stitches. So your first half treble, you almost feel like you're going backwards because it's right here. So there's just a psychology about the fact you're working into a half hexagon, finding where you need to go for this first bit. So you put your 2 half trebles in. They're right here at the beginning, sorry. I'm making the camera move. So you've got your 2 half trebles there. And then you've got to find where to put your first long treble. So you've got to go to the round below, and it's going between these 2 trebles here of the round below. So it's really near to the edge of your half hexagon.
Oh yes, it's almost like on the bottom line.
Feel like you're going, yeah, exactly. You feel like you're going back on yourself. So yarn over into that gap, pull back through, make sure it's nice and long, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So that's your first long treble, and then you do a long double treble, and you've got to go back down to the row 1 of your snowflakes. It's all the way back down here. Again, you sort of feel like you're going back on yourself because it's near the straight edge here.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So that's why I just wanted to demonstrate.
That's really useful. So if you've bought the kit, just write down the date, just remember, and then go back and watch this on YouTube. Again, over and over.
Yeah, and you've got loads of photographs in the pattern as well. But as you say, once you've made all of the snowflakes, you probably won't hesitate at all, but just in case.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think watching this as well,
yeah,
you know, it makes quite a difference seeing it in action.
Exactly.
Just what has Amanda asked? Oh, if you block the individual hexagons, do you then block the jumper at the end?
It's completely up to you. I do like to.
Do you? Oh, that's like double blocking.
I know, but it doesn't take too long. But another option is
because I've not done that. I've got even more pressure now.
Well, what you could do, and when I say blocking, if you've got those foam boards, you could lay it on there and just either steam it or spray it and pin it overnight to dry.
So not serious.
It's not massively technical or complicated, but it doesn't matter at all if you don't, but it does make a nice finish. So I have blocked all of these.
I guess if you've got the set of boards, it's not so bad, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's when you think, how am I going to do that?
Where am I going to do it?
I've done it on the
hanging
carpet
over the ironing board.
And they said, nobody go in that room.
Yeah,
I've got the cardigan on the carpet.
Yeah, I've done the same. Lay
and then
down
the
towel.
dog runs through.
Yeah.
Yes, but at least with this, you can lift them up and stuff. So
exactly.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't matter too much, but it does make a bit of difference. Try it, you'll be surprised.
Yeah,
is my kind of...
I know. Once I was really, I'm never blocking, but once I blocked, it does make a difference.
5 or 10 minutes. It feels like it's going to take forever, but when it's a whole jumper, it's not long. And the other thing is, every time you wash it, you could do the same. As it gets to sort of touch dry, and it just needs that final bit of drying, put it on your foam boards and block it.
Okay. So they are worth buying.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think it's worth having both.
Oh yeah, for different. Yeah, that's true.
You use them for different things.
And and we all know crochet isn't the sort of thing that you stop becoming addicted to.
No, it just continues.
You might not be addicted to it, but once you are.
Yeah, and there's always more to learn. That's my, there's definitely always more.
And the rest of the tools are cheap. You only need a hook. But
exactly.
It's worth getting.
Yeah, definitely. It's an investment. And if you're going to spend that time on something, you may as well spend that extra 10 minutes and really make it finish off nicely.
And I've got some new ones that we've got coming up in a couple of weeks that are lace blocking wires.
Oh, right.
But that's for lace knitting more. So that's where, you do lace work and you want to, if you want to block shaped edges, you have special wires.
Lovely. There we go. That's all part of the fun, isn't it? It's always quite nice adding to your collection of things you need for your hobby.
Yes.
Okay, have I got time to demonstrate joining, or are we...
You've got 3 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, we've been chatting, Kat. Sorry.
So I've shown you joining before in actual fact. Let's get this out of the blocking board now. But what I really wanted to show you was how to do the finishing off, which is a front post, back post. So I have shown the joining before. I joined mine with a double crochet. So you put them right sides facing, you join your yarn in, and you work through consecutive stitches. So exactly the same as I have with other jumpers and things when I've been on. So you'll join it through there, and then you edge the cuffs, the neck and the bottom.
Yes.
And this is a bit I just wanted to show you. So you're going to work with half trebles again. So you're going to work along, putting 1 half treble into every stitch to start with. So I'll just do a few, because all I want to be able to have done is shown you what I mean by front post, back post, in case you haven't done it before. And that gives you the really nice ribbing look.
And that's on the cuff and the neck.
Exactly, and I think for a wintry jumper, it just finishes it off really nicely.
Well, it looks like knitting as well, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you've whizzed along doing your half trebles, that will do. Oh, got to the other end, that's good. Okay, so that's just 1 row of half trebles, already makes it look neater. Chain 2, turn it. With your actual neck, cuffs and bottom, you're actually going to go round in circles.
Yeah.
But because I'm demonstrating, I'll turn it. And then I'm going to work around the posts. So instead of working into the V's of the stitches, half trebles again, yarn over, you're going underneath from the front, underneath the post of the stitch. So it's this long bit, the tall bit there. From right to left if you're right-handed, it'll be left to right if you're left-handed. Push your hook, this is a front post half treble. Treat it like a stitch, so you grab the yarn, put it back through underneath that post, and that gives you 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over through all 3. And then the next stitch, you're doing a back post half treble. So yarn over, come in from behind and out behind as well. So where it's a back post, your hook is always behind the work. Grab the yarn.
And that what gives you that knit and purl
Exactly,
look,
exactly.
like we would with knitting.
Exactly. And that's, you alternate those, front post, back post.
Nice.
So that gives you a nice ridge.
That gives you nice.
And you can do that for as many rounds as you like, which is what makes it...
Oh, I see. So you put it, you do like a round, and then you go, oh, is that high enough?
Exactly.
And then you do another round.
Yeah. So for the neck, you can... We even discussed how you could make a cowl neck that folds over.
Wow. A hood?
That would be, yeah, exactly. You know how we like a hood.
Yeah. In a snowflake shape.
Exactly. Sounds good.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not.
Might be a bit of a challenge.
That's fab. Okay, thank you so much, Sam.
Welcome.
So if you've managed to get a jumper, well done. Well done. I'm just going to run through them quickly. I think the silver, which is called the Crystal Snowstorm. So this is the only one that has the sparkly yarn. So there is enough grey, a lovely silver and silver grey, and then this yarn, which, oh, not that one, that's the wrong one. This one that has the sparkliness in. So this will make from a size, I think we decided 24 to 54 inch. Yes, 54. So about a 24 to 54 inch bust. And you've got enough yarn to make up to that biggest size, so that's loads. We're about to go into single figures for this one, okay? So please do put it in your basket and check out. Let's do the red, that's the one I'm wearing. So you get lovely ivory. It's a little bit soft, you haven't got the bright white, but it works really well. Yeah, and it's called wine, but it is a cranberry red. That's very true. I like that. Cranberry red. It's beautiful though, isn't it? And then you get the ivory and the red and obviously the pattern, and there's enough yarn to make the big size. And the pattern is not available on its own, and it all comes in a lovely drawstring bag as well. And then finally, there's the navy one that Sam is wearing. So what's the most popular today then? The navy. Oh. The navy is the most popular. Oh, there's not much between them, only about 2 between them. It's not a big difference. So the navy, you have navy and white, obviously enough yarn to make up to the biggest size. But this is lovely, isn't it? It's a real wintry crochet jumper. It's beautiful. So it's not novel. I mean, you can wear this in January as well. You can wear it in November. It's just a thing of loveliness. And all of them are lovely because the snowflakes really stand out, don't they? Lovely. And you will either need a 4, a 4.5 or a 5mm crochet hook, and you possibly some stitch markers. And do have a think about blocking. If you've not done it before, it does make a bit of difference. You know, it's not crucial, but anyway, thank you for joining me on Yarn Lane today, and thank you for letting me be here for 3 hours. It's been a total pleasure. Tomorrow, Sewing Street will be on for 5 hours, and at 8 o'clock we've got William Morris Constellations Quilt with Delphine. 9 o'clock traditional quilting fabrics. 10 o'clock confetti quilting with Delphine. That would be nice. I quite like confetti quilt. I might watch that. 11 o'clock. Oh, Yvonne's back. I know loads of you have been asking when is the Village Street Sew Row number 4 coming back. Well, 11 o'clock tomorrow. I know a lot of you love that, so that's going to be a lovely one. And at 12 o'clock, K for Plique Homeware with Delphine. Wow! Delphine's got 3 hours. Yarn Lane, because they gave us so many hours this week, Yarn Lane will be back next Monday with Block of the Month. I'm not going to be here because I'm actually going on holiday. It's my wedding anniversary, so I'm actually going away. So John will be here next Monday with Wendy to do the Block of the Month number 4. So thank you for joining me and Sam and all my other guests today, and I will see you very soon.